Chance is an idiot. Look at him. He's a fool.
Well, he likes to play the fool.
He's an idiot.
Everybody, yeah.
He's an idiot.
Ready for our first annual Western Special.
Western Special.
Studio West.
Right
Or
here.
Studio North is out.
I don't know what we
Of course,
call it.
his mask is an
Okay, well.
his mask is an improvement. All right, you can come over here now.
All right, so I'm now officially recording on the board.
Well, we didn't do a test of the audio levels, did we?
I
we
turned
did.
them down. It's fine.
Okay, because he said the audio was hot last time.
Well, I can't help it. Its audio was hot. So we ready to go?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, here we go. You ready, Chance?
Yep, ready. Ready, Freddy.
All right, three.
Ready, Freddy.
Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2.
Welcome to the Ponderosa, my friends, for an evening of songs and stories about the American West.
Well, riders, Trigger here is raring to go, so let's get started with today's story.
Here he comes, there's the trumpets, there's the drums, here he comes. Hustle on Cassidy, here he comes.
Get 'em up! Move 'em out!
Al's favorite show.
Rawhide. The great Frankie Lane.
Rolling, rolling, though the streams are
That's a
swollen.
great thing.
It is a great
Them
thing.
doggies rolling,
Have y'all guessed what our show's about?
It's a sci-fi show.
Yes, really.
Sugarfoot, easy lope and cattle rope and Sugarfoot.
Here's another good one.
Hey, fellas, you know what time it is?
It's
PodBlast
PodBlast time!
time!
Yeah! Gee, I wonder what we're doing today, Al.
The High Chaparral. That's a Western.
It is a Western. It's a
I
Western
love
of
that show.
Westerns.
Great theme by David Rose.
It is a good thing.
He did the Bonanza theme.
He did the Bonanza theme?
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, what about this one?
Oh, yeah, Virginia. Oh, the Virginian. That's a
Well,
great
you know
one,
what?
too.
I can. It's such. There's so many great theme songs from that era that.
Well, westerns were
that
they
we-
were hot back in the day.
Yeah, they
you
were
know, on
they were
television.
very much so, and
in the movies.
yeah, and before we really get started, and there's so many westerns we're not even going to be able to touch them because there's so
many of
much
them.
stuff. But we gotta play something here real quick.
Play it.
All right, because I want to get this out of the way. Let's Stomp Al. All right, so it's time to play Let's Stomp Al.
Okay.
And basically, what I'm going to do here is play some theme songs from some westerns.
Right.
And we're going a little out of order, but I want to make sure. I want to see if you really know your westerns. Are you up to
I love
the
westerns.
challenge?
I'll try.
Are you sure you're up for the challenge?
Yes. Go
Because I've got some here that you might not know, but some of them you may know right off the top. You ready for the first one?
Do I get a multiple choice?
No.
No.
Here comes the first one. You should know this one. Let it play a little bit. Okay.
Wait a minute. Don't tell me.
Chance, do you know? Even though it says the sounder was Stomp Al.
Wait a minute. No, don't tell me.
Come on now. It involves covered wagons.
Wagon train.
Wagon train.
Yeah, very good. Ding, ding, ding. Yeah,
knew
very
it.
good. Yep. All right. So Al
was
kind
giving
of had
Al a
trouble with
chance.
it. Yeah, I know you're gonna know this one though, and don't you chime in because I know. Come
All
on.
but one man died there at Bitter Creek.
Now he was a baseball player too. I can't play anymore because it tells you the name of the show.
It's not branded.
Yes, it was.
Oh, it is? Okay.
It was. It most certainly
Chuck
was.
Connors.
It most certainly was
Chuck
branded.
Connors, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a correction. We discussed this in a previous show, and Al said, I think that lasted 2 years. And I said, no, it was 1 year. You were right. It was a winter replacement show in the first year, and it was black
okay.
and white. It only lasted half a season in the first year. Then the next
Yeah.
season was a full season in color.
Oh.
Because Al was challenging me. He's like, I remember seeing those opening
you ever-
titles in color. And he was right.
Have you ever watched Branded? I didn't care for it all that good. You know,
Well, you know, but
I
it wasn't a
liked
bad show.
I like the Rifleman he was in.
Yeah, what you mean? This one right here?
Ah, great theme.
The Rifleman.
Great theme.
That was a great thing.
Starring
Chuck Connors.
And like I said earlier, I mean, well, when we first started, was those westerns had some great theme songs back then.
Well, they did. They did.
By the way, Rifleman launched September 30th, 1958, and ended July 1st, 1963.
Wow.
And it was on from 58 to September 60 on ABC Tuesday from 9 to 9:30.
But what was real interesting about there for the longest, it seems like as a kid, it seemed like there were westerns on every network.
They were.
I mean, from Bonanza on over.
And they
I
were in
mean,
every movie theater, too.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's just like, we didn't even talk about this one yet. One of Chance's favorites. What is it, Chance?
The Wild Wild West,
With
starring Robert Conrad.
who recently passed away.
And
Unfortunately. Yeah.
Michael Dunn as Michelangelo Loveless.
You know, a lot of
The
people,
Michelangelo
just
Yeah.
didn't get
The
Wild
midget.
Wild West.
Or
They,
the-
just, they didn't.
the little
I
guy.
liked it, you know, but a lot of people just didn't care for
But
it.
wasn't it
It was
on?
James Bond in the Wild West.
Yeah,
Yeah, but it was on the same time the Big Valley was on.
That's
if I'm
right.
Not, if I'm not,
that's a great theme too.
if I'm
Play
not,
that one.
if I'm not mistaken, it was on at the same.
It started in 1965, Wild Wild West did, on CBS.
Do you
Black
have-
and white the first year, and
Of
then it went to
course.
color
Yeah.
the remaining three
you have
seasons.
The, you have the Big
Yeah,
Valley.
of course I do. Yeah,
Ah, great theme.
it's a great thing.
Lee Major's first big role.
I can't keep up with you guys. I'm trying to look in my book here for the camera. It's a great book.
That is a good book.
It's better than the internet. I'm serious.
It is, because you have a hard copy in your hand and you can actually, you don't have to wait for the browser to load or any of that stuff.
You know, Peter
It's just
Breck.
well organized too. It's got the schedules
That is very
throughout
good.
history. It's
That's
only
very
up
cool.
until 1988. This is a dated edition.
Yeah.
But it's okay. It's got the 40s until 1988.
I had that book. It's so
love
it's somewhere. I had that book. Another good song.
1,000 pages.
A show, a western that ran longer, probably than any western at all. Period. Was this one? Marshall Balin. Gunsmoke.
You know, I like Gunsmoke, but I got tired of
I
watching
know,
it.
I
You know,
agree,
it was
I
on
agree.
For so long, I liked it.
They must have had when they did that series. It obviously got decent ratings. It wouldn't have been on as long as it was. But somebody must have had pictures of somebody. So because I agree with you.
It went on forever.
Yeah,
you know?
it seemed like it's a never-ending show. Is what it was. Now back to the Warner Brothers stuff. The Warner Brothers had so many shows out.
Well, Cheyenne
They
was
had, they
one.
had, they had, they had Cheyenne.
Yeah, Cheyenne. There you go.
And they had Sugarfoot.
Clint Walker.
Yeah, they had Maverick. They had so many out there. That,
He went on to make a lot of Western movies. Too.
Yes,
Clint Walker did.
Oh, Clint Walker. Yes,
Clint
he
Walker
did. Yes, he
did,
did. Now he was
Ron Howard's brother, right?
no.
No.
I'm kidding. That's Clint
No,
Howard. You
no,
said Clint Walker.
No, Clint. Now, here's the funny thing. Clint Walker was a very tall person.
Yeah, he's a big guy.
Yeah, he was.
He
like-
wasn't fat. He was just big.
No, he was very manly, as they call it. And Chance, I sent you something. I remember telling you to. Actually, I thought I bookmarked it here, but I didn't. Anyway, he was like 6'6" or 6'7". He was on a Jack Benny program. Jack Benny wasn't a very tall man, but he was on the Benny program, and it was actually quite funny. And here's
Walker was?
Yeah.
With the show, I'd like to present my guest star, a young man who's been doing a lot of wonderful things in the movies, and I'm sure all of you Western fans will recognize him immediately as a star of his own television series, Cheyenne.
Cheyenne.
And here he is, Clint Walker.
He's dressed in Western attire, but
Yeah.
but he's very, very tall compared to Benny.
I see. Yeah, look at that.
And this clip is on YouTube. It's from 1963.
How many seasons was Cheyenne on?
Hey, come on, Chance.
Chance, how many seasons? Look it up.
Come on,
Cheyenne.
Chance.
He could be our encyclopedia.
That's what I thought he was going to be too. You know.
I
you
am.
know.
I am.
So while he's waiting for that, it's looking at his magic book of television shows. Well, we're waiting. We're waiting for you. Come on, Chance. You can do it. Come on.
Cheyenne, here he is.
Come on, Chance.
September 20th, 1955 to September 13th, 1963.
Wow.
And it aired on ABC Tuesday 7:30 to 8:30 from 55 to 59, and then ABC Monday 7:30 to 8:30. Isn't that weird how hour shows would start on the half hour back then, like
Yeah.
8:30, 7:30, 9:30 instead of at the top of the hour?
And
When
then
did that change?
Well,
Well,
Ted
it-
Turner changed it, didn't he?
No.
It was
I-
5 minutes
network.
after the hour.
No, I was working in TV in North Carolina, in my hometown of Wilmington, and we had like at 6 o'clock we had our local news. 6:30 we had NBC News. 7 o'clock we ran the Beverly Hillbillies, and then at 7:30 we went back to the network. I think they changed it probably in the early 70s.
Yeah, but I thought Turner changed. I thought he was the one that
No.
started doing 5 minutes after.
He- no, that's correct.
shows
This
were
is,
5
this
minutes
is half
after the-
hour we're talking about. not-
Yeah.
We're
But
talking
no-
about hour programs, though.
Yeah, but local stations joined the network on the half hour at 7:30, but Turner started Turner time, what they call five past and 35 past.
Right.
He did that. You know why he did that, don't you?
Well, to give people a chance to see the other shows were crap. Bless
Yeah.
you. And that's
You don't
why.
have COVID-19, do you?
No, it's just dust.
Okay. He said he was sneezing at lunch too.
I'm wearing Western duds. I haven't worn in a while. They've dust all over them. But,
Oh,
likely
good.
getting back to
excuse.
Cheyenne real quick, the network screwed up, and the last year it was on, they moved it to Friday night, and that's probably what killed the rating, because
Well,
it
that's-
was on Tuesday and Monday night.
Yeah, well, that's what
previously.
kills most shows is once they're successful, is the networks and all their intelligence. I'm trying to be nice. Move the show around to help the weaker days of the week that the shows aren't doing quite good. So let's put this show in the middle of it so people will tune in, and that's.
I always wondered the logic behind that, so that's why. That
That's
makes
why.
sense, actually, in a
It
crazy
makes sense,
kind of way.
but it kills shows. It killed Newhart. That's what killed Newhart. Because they were doing really well, and they kept moving them around. And he went 2 more years, and finally he got tired of it, and he said, "That's it. This is
Well,
the last
nothing
season."
And
lasts
Star
forever.
Trek, they
Well,
killed
no.
Star Trek moving it to Friday night
Yeah.
when most of the audience were college students
Yeah.
and young people, and
It makes no sense.
they moved it
that-
to Friday night at 10
Yeah.
towards the end.
Yeah, because if you get a Friday night or a Saturday night or a Sunday night, nowadays it's a death knell because that's the weekend. So
But what was weird, though, is that when I was a young person in the 80s, Friday nights did really well on CBS. You had Dukes of Hazzard, The Incredible Hulk, and then Dallas, and that was a ratings powerhouse on Friday night. So
Yeah.
go figure. I guess it was just the right formula.
Rose
you
is
know?
coughing behind you. Sorry.
Well, we can get back to westerns.
Yeah,
can't
yeah,
we?
Yes, we can. Yes,
Yeah,
we can.
okay.
So a big powerhouse western was of course this show right here was Bonanza.
That was the very first TV show I saw in color. You remember the first show you saw? Bonanza, it was on Sunday nights.
Bonanza, right after Walt Disney, right?
Yeah.
Wonderful World of Color.
But Bonanza was the first show I ever saw on a color TV.
Oh yeah, and it was gorgeous. I got a print of that, and sometimes the shows were real funny, sometimes they weren't. I remember the show that I liked a whole lot was when Little Joe and Hoss beat up Ben and the sheriff because they were playing detectives.
Can I tell you a story about Bonanza?
Yeah, by all means.
The only time I've ever been to California, I went out in 72, I think 72, 73, anyway. Bonanza was still on, and so, and it was, of course, in syndication too, but my friend and I, we were driving around Burbank, and we ended up at the Warner Brothers lot, and we pulled in to turn around, and a security guard, this is a true story, the security guard came out, and he said, "This is a private property." I said, "We were just turning around." And then I said, "Can you show us around?" He says, "Well, I can show you one sound stage." So he took us in, and he took us to the Bonanza set.
Wow.
The Ponderosa is actually on a sound stage.
Right.
And even though it was an NBC production, they shot it at Warner Brothers.
Now here's the funny thing though about that story. Lauren Green's house that he built was built just like the Ponderosa.
So I've actually
It's still
stood
there.
in front of the Ponderosa.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's very cool.
But it was really cool, you know, and
Yeah.
I got to see that in person.
That's very.
And
See,
you
that-
saw Hollywood Squares being taped too that same trip.
but isn't that a shame? Isn't that a
Yeah,
shame you didn't have iPhones back then?
Oh, I know. I take pictures.
We have a comment on Facebook. Jeff Logan says Miami Vice did well Friday nights, if I recall correctly,
Yeah.
and he's right. And that
It-
was
it did.
from like 84 to 86, Friday night 10 to 11, and it did well.
Yeah,
Go
yeah.
figure.
Go
But it
figure.
had great music,
Yeah, but that was back.
real music songs in that
Sure,
show. It wasn't
sure
like
they did.
wasn't like cover bands. It was the real stuff. Glenn Fry.
But I would guess the box set of that doesn't have those songs on it anymore.
Actually, you would think that,
I
but my
would.
research indicates for some reason the real songs are in there.
Wow.
Now, Knight Rider.
They must have
shows like
slid
that,
under
they
the
took-
radar.
Yeah. I guess because it sold well enough, or they
it must-
projected it would
must-
sell.
all right, your time is up.
All right,
I'm just kidding.
All right, let's start out with the westerns. Let's talk about the movies. You know, the
Well-
early westerns.
Yeah, well, the big stars back then was Gene Autry
Hopalong
and
Cassidy.
Hopalong Cassidy.
Yeah.
Now there was Tom Mix, and there was a sundry of other
They had
characters.
Lash LaRue.
Lash LaRue.
You had all those.
And all those guys. He was the king, known as the king of the bullwhip.
Well,
That's Lash LaRue.
Gene Autry was probably the best.
Well,
of that
he was the
genre.
most successful,
Right.
probably, and he was probably the richest because he owned a baseball team and
He
all
owned-
these
he owned a radio
television
station.
He
He
owned a
owned-
bunch of TV stations
He
too.
owned KMPC in Los Angeles.
Yeah, he
and,
sure did.
So yeah,
And he had a #1 hit that even outshone Bing Crosby's song, and it was Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. He really made a hit with that. Gene Autry's horse
I did.
was known as. You remember Gene Autry's horse? His name was Champion.
Yes.
Champion. And by 1940, he was a top star of the movies, radio, live shows, records. I mean, he had them all. Now, Gene signed up in World War II after, and he was gone out of the limelight there for a while. But after the war, things had changed so much. Republic Pictures found a new star, and named Leonard Sline. Do you know who he was?
I have no idea.
He was
who that
known
is.
to millions as Roy Rogers.
Oh, well,
Yeah, and
that
but,
person I
but
know.
wasn't he also called the King of the Cowboys too? I want to say he was called that as well, but I don't know.
Well, no, they called him King of the Westerns. I
Yeah, maybe
believe,
so.
Something like that. They didn't call him King
Yeah.
of the Cowboys.
Yeah, maybe so, but
I never was a Roy Rogers fan. He
Yeah.
was a nice man, I guess, but I didn't care for his movies especially.
but because the motion picture companies, I guess Republic being the main culprit here, kind of screwed him. He started his own. He hawked everything he had, and he started Flying A Pictures, and then he signed a distribution deal with Columbia Pictures, which was pretty cool.
Well, he made a ton of movies.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
He made a lot.
Yeah,
of them.
and he wrote the Cowboy Code, and he was just known for so much stuff. It wasn't even funny.
Well, he had a TV show too, the Roy Rogers Show. I mean,
Well, that's the Roy Rogers, but I'm talking about Gene Autry. But
Oh, yeah.
but he owned the California Angels from 1988 until his death. He held on to that baseball
it
team.
was also Gene Autry. He sang one of the iconic Christmas songs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's what I just said. He Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah.
It even
Santa Claus is coming to town.
Yes, and he got gold records for it. Now he also wrote that Silver-Haired Daddy of Mine, and it became the first certified gold record of any artist. Now, see, I don't remember that song,
I don't remember.
But-
I remember
but-
the Christmas song. That's it.
but the fact remains, it became the first gold record of any kind, and so that was very cool. And in 1950, he produced the Gene Autry show, which ran for 6 seasons. And he was the first. Also, he did a lot of firsts. He was the first also to sell out Madison Square Gardens, and that's pretty good.
When did
too.
Gene Autry pass away?
I don't have that information.
It's been
in
years
front of me.
ago, I know, but,
Yeah, it has been. It has been. And
I have a movie. It's that I actually got from you, a Gene Autry B Western.
Yeah.
It's got Jimmy Durante in it. I forget the name of it.
Melody. I can't talk.
Melody
Ranch.
Yeah, I have that.
Is what it's called.
Actually, it's a decent movie.
Yeah, it was a fun little movie. It was a fun little movie, and it was also there's a longer version of that movie out there too.
B Westerns only ran about an hour. And,
but it's missing some songs. It's missing a few songs in it. What were you going to say?
did I get a refund then? If it's missing some footage?
No.
Just like
We got some activity on our Facebook page. We are live. If you're listening to this on fistfulofradio.com, we're recording this on May 31st, 2020. But we're live now. Marty Brown says, and Al, this must be someone you know, right?
I do, Marty, yeah.
And Al, you also met Ricky Nelson
I
out
did.
there in California at a gas station in
right.
1972.
Tell that story.
Well, we went. I had to get gas. I had a Volkswagen van, and I pulled in to get gas. And my friend Jimmy was with me, who I went to high school with. And so anyway, I pull up to get gas, and this guy pulls up in a red Corvette. I'll never will forget it.
Red Corvette.
He's out there pumping gas, and I told Jimmy, I said, Jimmy, that's Ricky Nelson.
Wow.
He said, who is Ricky Nelson? Jimmy.
Who said that?
My friend Jimmy. He was a geek.
Oh
He
my
didn't listen to radio. I said, you don't know who Ricky Nelson is?
Wow.
Then he was with the Stone Canyon Band.
Right.
But anyway, I said, that's Ricky. He was a TV star of Ozzie and Harriet, and made movies and stuff. He goes, anyway, I went over and spoke to him. He was very nice. I said, Ricky Nelson. He said, oh, nice to see you. He wouldn't remember. He's dead now, but
he probably wouldn't remember it now.
No, he wouldn't remember me now. But I did meet him. Yeah.
Well, did he use high test gas
and
or
he had
ethyl?
long hair.
Oh, he had long hair.
He had long hair then.
Did you use ethyl gas or what? Do you remember the kind of gas he put in his car?
He filled up. He filled up with premium.
Premium. That's because you have to. That's another thing about these new cars. Not they digress, but like these new fancy Mercedes and stuff, and the car my son's got, you got to use premium gas with it.
I have to with my Audi, too.
Do you really?
Yeah, premium only.
Well, my Beetle,
According to the owner's manual.
Well, my 2000 Beetle, you had to put premium because it's a turbo.
Yeah.
But now the new ones you don't.
Yeah.
You can put regular in it.
By the way, I'm announcing a big contest at the end of the show.
Oh.
So listen closely. This is a cool prize.
Yes.
I'll announce it later.
All right. So then there was, you have the Gene Autry. You had, but before Gene Autry was a Western star known as Tom Mix.
I didn't care for Tom.
Yeah, well, he was.
To me, he wasn't as big as Gene Autry
True,
or
but he was
Roy
one of
Rogers.
the first top. He was the first top film star of the early 20th century, though, and he made more than 300
Actually, I think
films.
I think he made some silent ones.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That's what I'm getting ready to say.
He made silent movies.
And most were silent. His first film was in 1909.
Oh yeah, it was silent.
That's definitely before everyone's time, and everyone's time is listening. That's real nostalgic right there.
Even before Al's time?
Even before, it was a couple of years.
Yeah.
And his last film was in 1935. Wow, that's great. And,
That's the year you were born, right?
yeah, it's right. And Tom's horse was called Tony. Tony
really?
the pony, which I thought was pretty interesting. Now, what was real interesting about it is you both probably don't know this. There was a 1988 movie. Do you remember a movie with James Gardner was in? Called, there you go. It was called Sunset.
No.
It was a good movie.
James Garner.
Bruce Willis was in it too.
Well, you never had good taste in movies anyway.
So James Garner.
I never heard of that
so
movie.
I'm not even going to laugh at that. But 1980, the movie Sunset with James Garner playing. James Garner played Wyatt Earp, and Bruce Willis as Tom Mix. Yep.
Apparently it flopped.
Because no, it didn't. Because Tom Mix had a genuine friendship with a real Wyatt Earp. So that's what this movie was about. You know. And The Miracle Rider was Tom Mix's last film in 1935, and he died at 60 years old. Wow, that's too young to die.
Of what?
I didn't say. It's probably back then they just didn't live that long.
He's probably a big pothead.
No, he was not.
Weed doesn't kill.
No.
I'm just joking.
But and then there's Hopalong Cassidy. My gosh.
Do you have that music, Hopalong Cassidy? I can pull it up.
Well, no, I've got that too. But the funny thing about Hoppy is there's so much stuff around Hoppy. Here's the theme.
Here he comes. There's the trumpets, there's the drums. Here he comes. Hopalong Cassidy.
Here he comes. Sponsored by, that's where the sponsorship would go, I guess. His real name was William Boyd.
Yes.
You knew that, of course, right?
I have
Now-
some Hopalong Cassidy's on 8mm film.
Did you really?
I did,
Well, he
yeah.
was the first merchandising phenomenon.
He had that big, tall
before-
hat.
Yeah, before everyone, yeah. He dressed in
10-gallon hat.
black.
A 10-gallon hat.
10-gallon hat, baby. You know what the
Reminds me of
cowboy...
Blazing Saddles.
That's right, you guys are interrupting.
Is that a
me.
10-gallon hat, or are you just happy to see me?
Oh, where's our, I took the rim shot out of this board. I should not have, probably should have left it in for today's show.
You got that theme, Blazing Saddles?
Yeah, no, I don't have that thing, Blazing Saddles, but we can.
Frankie Lane.
I'm sure we can get it. But we're talking about Hopalong Cassidy right now. He dressed in black, and no other cowboy did that. And
Lash LaRue dressed in black.
right, but,
He's
but
always
Hoppy
been-
was the first. Hoppy was the first. Your computer is making
That's
weird
not
noises.
mine.
That's your phone. Look at your phone.
No,
You might
that's
have a
my
call.
phone. Oh, I have an offer from a seller. Okay.
Oh, I see.
Okay, never mind. So anyway, Hoppy, the Hoppy character was actually created by Clarence Mulford. Did you know that?
I have no idea who that is.
In books, yeah. And the version he described was nothing compared to William Boyd's interpretation of Hopalong Cassidy. And matter of fact, he didn't really care for it. So in the 1920s, he became a megastar. Before Hoppy, his career took it took a nosedive, unfortunately, when the second actor who came up with the cameo to Hollywood to make pictures was a bad sort and getting arrested and drunk driving and stuff like that. And the newspapers thought it was William Boyd, but he had the same name as William Boyd. So the newspapers, just like Fatty Arbuckle, he was. They thought that was him. So all of a sudden he got a bad rap for that in the newspapers, and there was a morals clause in his contract. So the movie producers and movie people, they just went with what the newspaper said. The media, you hear me? The media won out, and he canceled his contract. Isn't that crazy? Over a newspaper article which they thought was him, but it really wasn't. Okay, so but they had a moral clause, and it was a way to control the actors back then, so they wouldn't go out and do crazy stuff like the actors of today do. So apparently they don't have moral
Go out and
clauses
get
today.
killed.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Like
So-
Paul Walker.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, but he had just signed $1 million contract with RKO, and they said, "Sorry, morals clause," and they tore up the contract, and he was blacklisted, and so then he had to work for the small studios.
RKO Pictures had that cool logo of the radio
Oh,
tower.
they really did. Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah. Now, the funny thing about the early Hoppy movies, they were made with class and great style because what they had in them was they had really good supporting cast, better than your average B movie matinee or matinee show. And Andy Clyde, if you remember him, he played a character called California Carson. And he was a character actor who broke into silent films as a Max Sennett comic.
He was a comedy guy.
Yes, he played Cully Wilson in Lassie. Remember the neighbor, the old codgety old neighbor, as a neighbor, and he played George McMichael on The Real McCoys. He played also a neighbor. So, and the
He
biggest
had
star,
to be pretty old by then.
yeah, he was, but the biggest star to come out of the Hoppy series was Robert Mitchum.
Yeah, he did
Did
make
you know-
some. Yeah, I
did you
remember
know that? Yeah.
He was in some early ones.
Yeah.
Whom you've interviewed when you were with Turner Classic Movies.
Yes, correct.
And he had an oxygen tank.
Yeah,
we
we've
talked
told
about
that
this.
story.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was
we-
smoking a cigarette, wearing an oxygen tank and
Yeah.
mask. Unbelievable.
But real fun. I don't want to spend a lot of time on Hoppy, but what was great was he paid $350,000 for the rights to own all 66 Hoppy movies and some characters, and he tried to make them, put them on TV before that was popular. He was the first one to do that, and he hawked everything. So anyway, he made a success doing all that. So
Well, what about
Anyway.
the Duke? I remember in film school, we've talked about this on the show, but we studied Stagecoach, which was John Ford's first time
Well,
he
we're
directed
getting
the
to the
Duke.
movies,
Okay.
the later movies.
Well, 1939, wasn't it 39 that Stagecoach was released? I mean,
Yeah.
that was a while ago.
Yeah, that was about
early
back.
on.
It was one of the early
But you know, all of these
versions of
people
that.
that teach
It ain't
film
like it was
and
The
stuff,
Searchers or something.
I mean, all
Later.
these people that teach film and stuff, they say, well, Stagecoach is his best movie. That's not true.
Right, that's true.
You know, his best movie, to showing his chops, was The Searchers.
That was a good one. Natalie Wood was in that movie as
Yeah,
well,
it's
and
a
Jeffrey
great
Hunter.
movie.
And Jeffrey Hunter, correct? When Jeffrey Hunter in that movie as well.
Yes, he was.
And
He was great. He played Jesus once.
He did.
King of
He
Kings.
played Jesus
King of
once.
Kings.
He
yeah.
did. King
Yeah,
of
no, he
Kings.
did. No, he did.
He died due to an accident on a set with a blank. It's tragic. He was very young at the
True.
time, and he died
True.
because of a bad special effect.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
you know,
He played the first captain in Star Trek. Sorry,
He did.
Captain Pike.
Captain Pike.
1964. Sorry.
but
That's true.
John Wayne made a lot of Western movies. I mean, that was his genre.
Yeah, he did. No, he did.
You know, and the Searchers is a good, but it's not really my favorite John Wayne movie. I think probably my favorite it was a little movie he did with Mark Rydell, the director, a movie called The Cowboys.
Yeah.
You know,
And that was later. And that was much later in his career.
That was later, but I really liked that movie.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, of course, Rio Lobo is a great movie, but I just liked the Cowboys.
But all of his movies tended to have almost the same kind of ongoing theme all throughout it. You know, he was the Duke. He was the star of the movie, and he only died in what, 2 of his movies. Period. I know the last one he made was The Shootist. He died in that one, and he also died in what was it, The Searchers, or was it the?
No, he didn't die in The Searchers.
He died in one
the
other
movie
one.
ended with him standing in the
The
doorway.
Cowboys. I'm sorry, it was the Cowboys.
Yeah.
He died in the Cowboys.
And The Searchers was released March 13th, 1956, directed by John Ford again.
Yes.
But he also did a movie I like called The Horse Soldiers with William Holden.
True.
A good
True.
movie.
That was a good movie.
That was a good movie. I like the music in it.
Yeah, it was very good.
You know, of course, he was in The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance.
Yep.
Another good Western with Jimmy Stewart and
True.
Lee Marvin.
Now-
Lee Marvin was Liberty Valance. He was a great actor.
Yes, yes, it was. Yeah.
But you know, John Wayne. You know, you go to the movies and you hear that voice. You just had that. Distinct
Oh,
voice
sure. Sure.
In the theaters.
And John Wayne Airport has his big statue. They still have it. My favorite John, 2 of my favorite John movies. Was one of them you can't stand because Turner used to run it all the time with the Sons of Katie Elder. That was really good.
I like that one. I like El Dorado. He
El
did with Robert
Dorado was really good, but my favorite one, probably you won't agree, is McClintock. I really, really like that movie.
It's okay.
I
You know,
really,
we
really
were,
liked it.
we were talking about The Searchers, and I've got a list here. I'll go down of the 10 best westerns that critics think was the
Okay.
best. And The Searchers was rated number 3.
Really?
Mm-hmm. You know what the number 10 best western made was?
No.
Rancho Notorious.
I don't even know that movie.
It's an Alfred Hitchcock movie.
Rancho. I don't know that
Rancho.
movie. Was he
Marlena Dietrich.
Oh,
Rancho Notorious.
I don't even know that.
You don't know that one?
Speaking of John Wayne, did you know in California they used to have something called John Wayne Day, and the California State Assembly rejected it in August 29th, 2016 over race comments.
Wow.
It's kind of sad. So no more observance of John Wayne in California on John Wayne Day.
All right,
Wow.
the number 9 movie,
Yep.
rated by everybody. Did you see this one called The Assassination of Jesse James with Brad Pitt?
Yeah, I do remember that one. I just don't remember it doing well at the box office or anything.
It's a good movie.
Really?
Yeah.
The Duke's last movie was The Shootist.
Where's the shooters?
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ron Howard was in that one.
Red River is number 8, John
Yeah,
Wayne
okay,
movie with
okay.
Montgomery Clift.
Okay.
You like that movie?
Yeah.
What about Rio Lobo?
That's not in there. Number 7,
Yeah.
High Noon, Gary Cooper.
Okay. That was an excellent movie.
Number 6,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't care for this movie,
Okay.
Unforgiven with Clint Eastwood.
No,
I liked it.
I didn't care for it.
liked
either.
it.
I liked it.
I thought it was overrated.
It's overrated,
I
but
thought
I
it was
liked
very
it.
overrated.
The number 5 rated movie,
Yeah.
McCabe and Mrs. Miller.
What?
Robert Altman movie, Warren Beatty and Julie Christie.
Really?
Great movie.
Wow.
Number 4.
It's getting more tense here.
Number 4.
The
The best buddy movie Western ever made. What is it?
best buddy Western.
A
movie.
buddy Western.
Well, the War Wagon was kind of a buddy
No,
movie. But,
no,
okay.
You're talking John Wayne, right?
No.
Butch Cassidy and the Sundance
That's
Kid?
it.
Okay.
Wow.
Robert Redford
No
and Paul Newman.
kidding.
They were buds.
I can
you
see
know?
your note. I'm kidding. No,
No.
I guessed it.
And of course, number 3 was The Searchers.
Yeah.
What's
Number two.
What's number 2?
The
We need a
Wild-
drum roll for number 1.
We will.
Yeah,
the,
we
the
really
wild
do.
the Wild Bunch,
Okay, now let's build up some drama and suspense.
directed by
All right.
Sam Peckinpah.
You don't have your drum roll?
No, of course
Okay.
not. Well,
And I hope you got a theme for the number 1. This movie is rated the best Western ever made. Can you believe that?
Well,
What
it
was
depends
it?
on what it is. And who made that list.
Do we have a drum roll?
No, I don't have the drum roll. No.
Once Upon a Time in the West.
Really? Once
Directed by Ennio Morricone. Oh, no, music by Ennio Morricone. Directed by Sergio Leone, who did all the spaghetti westerns.
Yeah. Once Upon a Time.
Here you go.
That's the theme from
That's the theme.
Once Upon a Time in the West. It was a good theme song.
It's an operatic western.
It's kind of a dark movie, though.
No, it's an operatic western. I'll tell you some history behind it. Is that when they were casting the movie, it stars Henry Fonda,
Right.
Charles Bronson, and Jason Robards is in it. Some really good people. Let that play while I'm talking. But anyway,
I am.
Anyway, Charles Bronson was going to play the bad guy.
Right.
You know, because he always plays kind of rough characters in his movies. But Henry Fonda came, and he wanted to play the bad guy. He had a mustache, you know, and he just looked the villainous part. Henry Fonda did. And Sergio Leone says, no.
No, we don't know what to do this.
No, you can play.
That's your phone now.
Let me turn that off.
All right, go ahead. Continue.
But anyway, Sergio Leone said, you can play the bad guy. Henry Fonda's going to play the bad guy. Because Henry Fonda always played good guys in movies. He rarely played a bad person. But he says, you're going to be clean shaven. You're going to look really cool. No mustache. Just clean shaven. He says, but you're going to be the bad guy. And they're going to see the evil you have in your eyes.
Wow.
You know, because he had blue eyes. And he was great in it as the bad guy.
Wow.
There's a scene in the movie where he shoots up these people. And he shoots the mother and father of this kid.
Right.
And then the kid is standing there just looking at him. And you see the gun. And he shoots the kid, but it doesn't show him shoot the kid. You just hear the bullet go off.
Right.
Oh, okay.
You know, but that's a great.
It's
movie.
just very suggestive.
And Claudia Cardinelli was in it. She
Yeah.
was great.
But that movie didn't go on to win any nominations or anything, did it? Because it was considered a foreign film, right? More
Speaking
than
of foreign
likely?
films, are we going to discuss
More than
spaghetti
likely.
westerns later?
Well, that's kind of
We're
what
getting
this.
to that,
That's
yeah.
kind of what this is
you're
now.
saying- Yeah.
Well, Sergio Leone made those.
Yeah.
But you know,
We have a comment on Facebook. No good, the bad, and the ugly.
no, it was not rated as.
According to who, though? Again,
well,
That's right.
It's. I mean, it's
Quick
a
on the
great.
draw.
All of those are good movies, but these are
Filmed
just,
in Italy, right?
Yes.
This list
Yeah.
was compiled by movie critics.
Oh, you didn't say that.
So it's a bull crap
It's a
list.
bunch of crap. Yeah.
Pauline Kael was a critic back in the day. Roger Ebert compiled the list.
But
I
what
mean,
do you think, Al Hardy? That's
Yes.
what people want to
Yeah,
know.
what do
What
you
do
think?
you think?
I think the best one is Once Upon a Time in the West.
You're- okay.
You know,
It was a
But
long movie too, wasn't it?
It's about 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
But The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is a great movie.
It is.
It is. It's wonderful.
All of those
you
Eastwood.
know, Eli Wallach is great in it. I love
Yep.
Eli Wallach.
Yeah.
And of course the first spaghetti western, A Fistful of Dollars.
Yeah.
And the second one,
Like Fistful of Radio, which we're
ooh.
on.
and then the second one
Plug,
was
shameless
for
plug.
a few dollars more, and then The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Yeah.
But you know, Clint Eastwood, after The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, he said, "I don't want to do no more," because they were shot in Italy, and all the other actors didn't speak any English, but they were able to communicate because of the director, Sergio Leone, of course, spoke English, but Clint Eastwood, and he hated smoking. He didn't like to smoke. But you remember he had the
He had
cigar.
a cigar, yeah.
But he didn't actually breathe it in.
Yeah.
You know?
No,
He
of
didn't
course
inhale.
not. He didn't suck it
inhale
in.
you know.
Yeah.
But you know that was his character.
That's why he's 90-some years old and still.
He just turned 90.
Yeah, still
But
making
he
movies.
you know, after The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, he said that was it. No more
Wow.
spaghetti
So
westerns.
he never
for
did
him.
westerns.
Well, no, he made westerns.
Yeah, because he did Outlaw Josie Wales. that
Oh
we
yeah,
talked
but he
about.
just didn't want to do it with you know,
With the
I guess
Italian
that-
companies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
so.
Production company.
And he said
Well, that's
he
true.
said he was paid very little money for those movies.
And you guys are probably going to discuss this. We have a comment also. Roy Rogers had a traveling cowboy show with horse riding.
Of
Trigger
course.
and the Sons of the Pioneers, his band.
True.
Oh yeah, he sang.
True.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
good.
he did. Yeah, he did. We haven't
We
gotten
talked
to
Gene
that.
Autry, but
Yes.
we'll get to Roy.
Now back to John Wayne for
Yeah.
a brief moment. one of the famous scenes from, again, McClintock, but you don't agree with me on, but that's okay.
No, I didn't care for that movie.
I thought it was great, and is this scene right here?
Off someplace or meet some fella or something.
What are you saying? That
Here
I
it
didn't
is.
raise my girl right? That she'd wander off all night with some man?
There's a lot of things I'm not saying to you, mister. Well, you got a sawed-off shotgun in my middle. But how do you know this Indian had anything to do with it?
She's gone, ain't she? She's gone.
And then she comes riding in with somebody else.
Been looking for me, Pa?
Where you been, gal?
Young Ben took me for a sunrise ride, and the horse wandered away.
Oh,
You come down over there.
But Pa!
She's telling the truth, Mr. Mc...
so anyway, the scene becomes more and more great, which is right here. I'm sorry.
On that shotgun,
I'll
let's
teach him
forget
to
it.
fool with Mike.
Here it is.
Now, we'll all calm down.
Boss, he's just a little excited.
I know. I'm going to use good judgment. I haven't lost my temper in 40 years. But Pilgrim, you caused a lot of trouble this morning. Might have got
Pilgrim.
somebody killed.
The famous line,
And
yeah.
somebody ought to belt you in the mouth.
Here it is.
But I won't. The hell I will.
It's a great scene. The hell I want. So it's a good scene.
You know, one of his famous lines from his movies is like, "Morning, dude." You know,
Morning Dude.
Morning,
Truly,
dude.
he is the son of God.
You know, he
I
was.
can't do it, John
That's from Rio Lobo.
Real Lobo.
Morning, dude.
Which is
But you know, another good
movie.
John Wayne movie, getting back to him, was one called North to Alaska. And I love the song by Johnny Horton. You could pull that up.
North to Alaska.
North to
yeah,
Alaska.
yeah.
And also the Comancheros.
Now that was that I might agree with you on that, because that was probably the best John Wayne movie
Had a-
ever, because it had a great.
It's got a great score. The music in it is really good.
Yeah.
The Comancheros, yeah.
Well, the Comancheros, plus it had who was the
Bradford Dillman. No, Bradford
No, it
Dillman.
wasn't Bradford Dillman.
The guy, he just passed away not long ago. Oh Lord, I'm getting...
I forgot too. I forgot who it was too, but he was really good. I can see his face right now.
Because John Wayne was hired to take him in.
Yes.
You know,
Correct.
Because he was a criminal.
Yeah.
Well, we got to figure out who this is. We're in this is a time capsule of information.
Here's North to Alaska.
And that's the famous Johnny Horton.
Yeah. To rush his own Sam.
Great song.
In the year of '92. With George Pratt. That's a great song. It was a big country hit. And also a pop hit on the radio.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just a little southeast of Nome.
All right, so Stuart Whitman was the guy we were looking for.
He died last year.
Yes,
That's right.
Yeah, he did. It was movie was done in 1961.
Any relation to Slim Whitman?
No, not a chance. Oh, not a chance. Get it?
I've heard them all. Every pun under the sun.
I'm
I've
sure
heard
you
Chance.
have. Yeah, I'm sure you have. But John was the best. I mean, there's no.
Well, when you think of, I didn't like him. I liked him in war movies, though.
He was good, and he was.
He was good in
Listen,
war movies.
he was. There wasn't too many bad John Wayne movies, period. And I know you said you don't like when he played Was it Brannigan or?
Nah, I didn't care for that.
It was okay. It wasn't bad. I mean, even when he played the serious non-Western
By then,
roles.
he had his own production company.
Well, sure.
You know what that was?
Well, tell us.
Bat Jack Productions.
Back Jack Productions,
Yeah.
correct.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, True Grit comes to mind as a famous John Wayne character that he played, the sheriff, or the marshal. Pardon me, I misspoke. So that, and there was two of them. Rooster Cogburn was the second one with Katharine Hepburn. Now, I didn't care for that movie. Did you care for that movie?
Which one?
Rooster Cogburn.
Yeah, it was okay.
It-
I liked it because I like Katharine Hepburn. Yeah, I liked it.
And then they reprised the role. Jeff Bridges played Rooster Cogburn in True Grit here a couple of years ago.
Glenn Campbell was in that movie.
Yes, Glenn Campbell.
He sang the song.
He sang the song. Yeah, he sang the song.
1969 release, True Grit.
Yeah.
And it was remade in 2010, but I didn't see the remake.
Correct. But the remake wasn't bad. I mean, Jeff Bridges did a very good job. Don't get me wrong, he really did. But
speaking of Jeff Bridges, can I mention another Western as an honorable mention? I've got those
Certainly.
two. He played Wild Bill Hickok in Wild Bill. Did you ever see that movie, an MGM movie called Wild Bill?
yes,
Great Western. And we didn't mention, we'll mention honorable mention, Tombstone was a good movie.
Oh yeah, loved it. 1992.
Yeah.
yeah. Tombstone.
But Wild Bill with Jeff Bridges is a great movie. He played Wild Bill Hickok.
It was a good movie.
You're
It
an
was a good
angel, then again you might be the
Is this
Antichrist.
it?
Oh, you know what that was?
The Antichrist.
I don't know. I don't know.
That was a line from Tombstone, a classic line.
That's a Hal
Was that something you
That-
played?
No, I just said it.
At the exact time because I was playing this.
Oh, Glenn Campbell, True Grit. Yeah.
It's Glenn Campbell, and that comes up the Antichrist. I'm going, what?
Some days, little girl.
That was a hit song too.
It was.
Yeah.
You'll wonder what life.
And it rolled. That song actually played over the opening credits of that movie.
I saw Glenn Campbell in concert at Chastain Park.
Yes.
Me and my friend Marty and Gail. We went and got backstage, and he was one of the nicest people.
Yeah, that's what I
really
heard.
nice.
That's what I heard.
Because of your radio connections, is that how you got backstage? Or did you have
Of
to pay?
course, Kicks. They got
Okay.
me tickets. We
Kicks
got
Country
backstage.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Used to be called
Yeah.
Kicks.
Yeah.
Now it's called the New Country.
And I haven't been to Chastain Park since. How about that?
Well, you're not missing a thing.
I just know
Except
it,
Jeffrey Mann in the woods.
I just
Yeah.
know it was hot and muggy,
Sheriff
and
Man.
it just was really.
Well, it depends on when you go. If you're going in the fall and the
It was in the
arts open,
summertime,
yeah,
you know, it was just hot.
Yeah, you don't go there in the summertime. But that was a good theme, and of course Glenn Campbell died in that movie, if I'm not mistaken. He did, in True Grit. Yeah, he died, and they buried him at her ranch. And she
Kim
said,
Darby's in it.
Kim
I
Darby.
like Kim Darby.
And Kim Darby said, "There's a space for you." She's talking to Rooster Cogburn at that point.
Right, yeah.
And so Glenn Campbell died in that movie. So
And
anyway,
about Tombstone, Marty Brown has commented, Tombstone, awesome movie. And he said Val Kilmer was perfect as Doc Holliday. That was
he's
his
great.
line.
He was.
Where
That's a-
he's been diagnosed basically with lung cancer, and he keeps smoking, and the girl, this beautiful lady, puts a cigarette in his mouth, and he goes,
You might be an angel, then again you might be the Antichrist.
so that's what that scene
that's
was.
there you go.
I'm your Huckleberry.
That's
Is that part of it
Brokeback.
too?
Yes, from Tombstone.
I'm your
No,
Huckleberry.
that's Brokeback Mountain, dude.
No.
I'm just kidding.
No.
That's a joke.
I'm your Huckleberry.
All right.
No, you're funny. You're
And you know
funny.
what I do? I do have a buzzer. I forgot.
We'll need that for our game show part.
Yeah,
two.
we will.
No,
we
but
will.
Tombstone's a great movie. It really is, and I just like that movie. I saw that movie at the theater here in Atlanta. It's now closed down. It's torn down. The General Cinema over there on near Gwinnett Mall.
Now, Tom, got to ask you. There's
But
a
the
movie
sign's
Al-
still there. Sign's still there.
Al saw a movie he didn't care for that I did. What did you think of Cowboys and Aliens? Did you like it, or did you hate it, or indifferent?
I didn't hate it. But do I own a copy of it? No.
Well,
but wasn't Harrison Ford was in that one?
Yes, and James Bond, Daniel
And,
Craig.
and Daniel Craig. Yeah,
Well,
I need to rewatch that because
Danny
it-
brought that up. He called in and mentioned it, and he'd never seen it, so he rented it. And
I rented it and watched it, and
Yeah.
He didn't like
I
it.
didn't dislike it, but I just didn't care for it. I don't think that Cowboys and Aliens. I mean, if you watch the movie, it couldn't make up its mind if it wanted to be a good Western or a good alien movie. You know, they to me it just didn't mix. I didn't. It didn't work for me.
Well,
but you
I-
don't like sci-fi. You hate sci-fi.
Right.
You
I
told
don't,
me.
I don't hate sci-fi.
You said they did the Western part good, but you didn't care for the aliens. You said once you've seen one alien, you've seen them all. That's
But-
a quote from Al Hardy.
And there's not been another Western made with aliens either. It didn't make a lot of money.
It made
at the
$9
box
million.
office.
It
didn't make
netted
that-
$9 million.
Yeah, well, that's not a lot of money.
But that's
these
not a
days.
loss. You wouldn't take $9 million if you're executive
Sure,
producer.
sure.
Yeah,
You would put that in the bank.
But then again, how many? It may have broke even. I don't think it lost money.
That includes what I read: the advertising, all expenses,
Yeah.
the salaries of the actors.
According to what
Yeah.
I read, it lost money. The studio.
Well,
was
anyway, I mean, I remember it was
Whatever.
touted. It was touted as a good movie, and I'm assuming it was okay. But
I'm not a huge Harrison Ford fan.
Well,
I liked him in some things. He was great in, of course, in Raiders of the Lost Ark and that sort of stuff.
Which is
but-
airing tonight on CBS Movie of the Week. If you're listening on Fistful of Radio, it was last week, but they brought back the Sunday night movies we've discussed in a previous PodBlast. And tonight is the one you used to have on film, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade
Yeah.
with Sean
I
Connery.
thought you said they aired that weeks ago.
They aired Raiders of the Lost Ark weeks ago.
Yeah.
They started in May, the first Sunday in May, and they're ending in May with another Indiana
No,
Jones.
but anyway,
It's
I
all
wonder,
right.
I wonder how much they cut it up though for the
Not
commercials.
much. I
Or time
watched
compression.
Raiders. No, they did a great job.
They
They
did a good
didn't
job?
censor it.
Really?
And they even played the end credits with the music.
Wow.
Now they did condense it where the credits are
Yeah,
flying
yeah,
by,
yeah,
but they
yeah.
played the music. They didn't do a promo, no voiceover, nothing. I was really impressed with the CBS presentation of that. They played
I'm amazed.
Titanic. I think they're going to play Grease. You know, a lot of
Why
big
watch
blockbusters.
movies with commercials? I mean, you don't have to these days.
You do if your ass is at home in quarantine in
No,
a
you
state
don't.
that's
All
locked
the
down.
DVDs and films you have, you don't have to watch that on TV.
You're not the average, but see, we're not the average Joe. We're collectors. Most people they stream or they go to the movies or they watch it. You know, they're not like we're movie freaks.
Yeah, well,
That's
like
why
I said,
we're here.
That's true.
Well, getting back to Cowboys and Aliens, I just didn't care for it.
Well, that's fine. I mean, that's fine. I remember seeing it and thinking it was okay. But, again, I don't own a copy of it. But now that you've mentioned it, I will go look for it and watch it again because I remember bits and pieces of it. It wasn't a real memorable movie for me, but I will give it a second look. Just like I watched The Frighteners last night for the first time in many years, and I'm going, wow, the effects are really dated.
Well, can I ask you guys a serious question about Gunsmoke?
Sure.
Was Miss Kitty a prostitute?
No.
The love interest,
No, she just
or was she just a barmaid?
No, she ran the saloon, didn't she?
Yes,
okay,
she
because
did.
I thought it was. I thought she might have been a madam.
No.
All right.
No, she owned the
saloon.
The saloon. Miss Kitty. Yeah.
Yeah, because James Arness played a lawman, for goodness sakes, a
Correct.
U.S. Marshal, so he wouldn't cohort
Why would you even
with a
think
prostitute.
that?
But he also
Why
The
would
way
you
she
even?
looked-
Why would you even think
Because
that?
of her makeup and her outfit. I don't know. I just watch
She
her
was
so
a
casually.
saloon girl. I
Okay,
mean, but
don't
she
get
owned-
hot. Don't
she
get hot
owned
about
the
it. It's just a
bar.
question.
That's right. That's right. Come on.
Jeez.
So,
His
but
mind's in the gutter.
In the Old West,
Now-
they had ladies of the evening everywhere.
now in that
But
movie,
not at Miss Kitty's.
what was the Val Kilmer movie? Was it Tombstone? Remember the Linda? Was her name Linda Hunt, the smaller actress?
Yeah.
She played the Miss Kitty part, as I would
Right.
call it.
She ran
she owned the a saloon or something, and
She owned a brothel. Well, she had a what? No,
I don't think she had a brothel. She owned the bar, the saloon, and kept what's his face in the back back room, kept him out of harm's way there for a while.
All right.
But anyway,
I want to talk about. We talked about the 10 best Western movies.
Yes.
Basically, is
According to those critics.
according to those
the
critics,
I mean, it doesn't have to be mine or yours or anything. I'm just telling. But about the 10 best Western themes.
ooh,
I mean, for TV musical theme songs.
Well, see, that's a tough
I
one.
like this. This is a cool topic.
All right. The number 10 best Western theme.
Yeah.
Now this
And
movie.
you got to play each of these.
Well, it depends if I have it.
All right, this movie was filmed in Cinerama.
Oh,
Well, we're talking movie show tunes or
These are
TV
mo-
themes?
No,
I'm
movies,
confused.
Movies.
Okay.
These are movies, theatrical movies.
yeah,
You know what it is?
yeah. How the West was won.
Yes. How the West was Won is voted number 10.
I didn't think it was all that good.
Alfred Newman did the music for it.
Yeah,
No, Tom,
I
are you talking
know.
about the music or the movie when you say you didn't care?
I just
for it?
said themes.
Yeah, I'm asking Tom. He says I didn't care, but he didn't specify.
I
you mean
didn't
the
ca-
music or
I didn't
the
care.
movie?
I didn't care
Or
for the
both?
movie.
Okay,
I didn't care
that's
for
what
the
I
movie.
thought you meant.
But the theme was, Alfred Newman,
Alfred Newman.
1962.
Yeah, is this it?
Yeah, this is a theme. Now, I don't disagree that the music was excellent. I just look, the movie was basically shot in. It was a gimmick.
It was a gimmick.
And all the shots were gimmicky and.
Well, the movie was boring.
That's what I'm saying. The movie wasn't very good.
It was boring, but it was a gimmick, and it made a lot of money.
Yeah, because it was Cinerama.
In color?
Of course.
Of course.
And
And MGM.
Now, Al, explain the Cinerama process.
Well, Cinerama, we had a theater here in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And it
Was there a Cinerama in Atlanta?
Yeah, it was the Atlanta Theater.
Okay.
Later became the Columbia Theater that I
Love
worked
that
at.
theater. My God.
Well, a Cinerama screen is louver.
Right.
It's not just a piece of big white.
Is it like how many projectors?
It's
is it?
stripped.
Right.
3 projectors.
3 projectors.
You have a projector in the middle of the auditorium up in the booth.
Right.
Then you have a projector on the right and left side of the building. And the projectors are synced together. It's filmed.
That's got to be hard to do.
It is.
It took like 3 operators.
Yeah.
Right. You had to,
Because back then it wasn't automated.
You're right.
No,
That's what I'm
okay.
saying.
They
You had
had-
to just time it out.
and they had an intercom system. They talked with one another, and they have to thread the film
Yeah.
up at the exact same place. The countdown.
But then they usually run the big 6,000-foot reels for the Cinerama. They usually run the. They didn't run the
use larger
20-minute
reels.
reels.
No, they use larger reels.
Okay.
Now, listeners, it was big concave. It was bent like
It
all
was
around.
It was
curved.
U-shaped.
It
It was almost U.
huge.
It was almost
It
U-shaped.
came all up around, and they had to sync them together. And once all the 3 projectors started at the same time.
Yeah.
Did they ever
Because-
have screw-ups where one projector
I'm sure
was
they
not in
probably
sync?
did.
Well,
at one
just
time.
just like the 3D movie, the true 3D movie that ran 2 projectors, like that Vincent Price House of Wax that we saw.
Wait,
Right.
would that be like one blue, one red? When you say 2 projectors, because there were different hues in the early black
Right,
and
but
white
it was-
where you wear the blue and red glasses.
Correct. It was
Well,
two
no,
different.
it was one projector. It was just the film was double exposed, and you had the the glasses.
No, but
right?
when he ran that, he was running it on 2 projectors at the same time.
He was?
Yes, he was.
Are you sure?
I know he was.
I don't
I
know
know
about-
he was.
He had the lens.
And there was a guy
yeah.
named Les Snipes who used to work in the film department at WVEC where I used to work, and he would talk about he hated that damn 3D.
I don't care about
because
3D.
he
It's
because he
give me
had to
2.
run 2 projectors at the same time, and if any of the footage was missing, he'd have to replace it with white leader or whatever so it wouldn't get out of sync.
All right, the number 9 movie, best movie thing.
Yes. Go ahead.
Was a movie that starred Mercedes McCambridge. She was in The Exorcist.
The voice of the beast in The Exorcist.
Right.
Not Linda Blair.
The movie number 9, Johnny Guitar.
Johnny Guitar.
Music by Victor Young.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Rated
You're
number
gotta be kidding me.
Johnny Guitar. It's a good movie. I had a print at one time at 35.
Wow, that's just.
But I don't remember the music.
Well, I don't remember.
You have the music there?
Well, yeah, I've got the trailer, but it doesn't really feature.
I think the music is sort of forgettable. I just don't remember.
Well,
I remember
Joan
the movie.
Crawford. Joan Crawford was in this stupid thing.
Yeah, and Mercedes
And,
McCambridge.
yeah,
Was this the trailer, Tom?
Yeah, well, this is.
Mercedes McCambridge was mean in it. Oh,
Yeah,
she was just
yeah.
mean. She hated Joan Crawford's character.
Yeah, and this was from 1954, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just wasn't a. I don't know. I don't think it was a great movie, but that's just me. I never cared for Joan Crawford. That's part of it.
Yeah.
He's playing the guitar.
Maybe you're cold, but you're so warm
I like the song.
Yeah.
inside.
Of course, that's not Joan Crawford singing. It's not Betty Davis.
But that's the song.
I was always a fool.
The song's called "Play It Again, Johnny."
Johnny.
So anyway, it's a Joan
Johnny
Crawford.
Guitar. Number 8
Yeah.
is a movie we talked about a little while ago.
Oh.
Rio Bravo. With music
Rio?
by, let me see if I get this right. Is it Dominique?
Dominique Frontier.
No, Dominique Tompkin?
Well, you tricked me.
What?
T-O-M.
Tiomkin.
Tiomkin.
Tiomkin is his name. He was on the.
Dominique Tiomkin, yeah.
Yeah, he was also on
Rio Bravo.
He was on Jack Benny shows. It was a funny freaking scene. I'm not even going to try to describe it, but it was hilarious.
But Rio Bravo, did you like Rio Bravo?
Yes, I did. It was a very good movie.
Ricky Nelson
and Ricky
was in
Nelson
that.
was in it as well.
And one of my favorite songs, see if you can find it, is My Rifle, My Pony, and Me, that Dean Martin sings. You have Dean Martin, Ricky Nelson, and Walter Brennan. Here you go. Listen to this. This is a great song.
The Red Wing settles in.
Listen to this.
It doesn't sound like Ricky Nelson. Though.
I said Dean Martin. Ricky Nelson comes in. Listen.
Yes, I know.
Purple light
Listen. Play it.
in the canyon. That's where I long to be.
I love Dean Martin.
Yeah.
With my three good companions. Just my rifle.
It's amazing they got the echo in the jail cell.
Gonna hang
There he is, Ricky Nelson. Listen.
my sombrero.
And Walter Brennan playing harmonica.
Listen. That's a great song.
Of a tree coming home, sweetheart, darling, just my rifle.
Hello, Keith.
Isn't that a great song?
Yeah, that was a good song.
Whippoorwill
And there's Ricky.
Yeah.
in the willow sings a sweet melody.
That's probably in his contract.
We can watch this at my house if you
Yeah,
want to have it on
yeah.
DVD.
Well, yeah.
It's just about over.
No, it's about halfway through.
All right, that's Rio Bravo, the number 7 rated theme song.
Yeah.
And it's great. I love it. I really do like it. It's by Elmer Bernstein.
Right. Okay.
The Magnificent Seven.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. That is a great
Well,
thing.
you know that. Yeah.
It's
that-
pretty rousing.
It was.
is.
It was very rousing. Did they use it in the remake?
Yes, they did.
Did they?
Yeah,
I didn't. I don't remember.
on the end credits. On the
Did
end
they
credits,
really?
Yeah.
So I didn't remember whether they did or
On the
not.
end- I showed it to you.
Yeah,
So
and they used it in
yeah.
commercials too.
Yeah, they did for.
Oh, yeah,
for
they've used-
Marlboro
Television commercials.
Yeah,
Marlboro
yeah.
cigarettes.
Yeah.
Here you go. Here you go. There. Elmer Bernstein. Here you go. Great thing. Elmer Bernstein did a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah,
scores
yeah.
for movies.
Steve McQueen.
Yeah.
James Coburn was in it.
I
Yul
like the
Brynner?
remake better, but I love this theme.
Yeah. Charles Bronson was in it. They fought like 700. Yeah, it's a good. That's a great thing.
Great.
Great scene.
All right, number 6.
So, all right, so
Is it-
number
is-
si- number
is-
6.
is it- we're getting to Clint Eastwood now.
Oh,
Number 6.
number 6. I really wish I had known you were going to do this. I would have had drum rolls ready.
The theme from Unforgiven.
Well, see,
And I cannot pronounce this composer's name. It's L.E. Well, maybe you can just look it up. Unforgiven. 1992. That's when it came out.
Yeah.
But you didn't care for the movie.
Well,
No, I didn't care for the movie.
There was another movie in 1960, Unforgiven, as well, with Burt Lancaster.
Burt Lancaster.
Yeah, but you're talking
It was
about
a semi-remake by Clint, but Clint
Yeah,
changed it around a
yeah.
little bit. It's not the same story.
yeah. So I mean, I obviously there's did Metallica do that one?
All right.
Man, the Unforgiven. I love the
Sorry.
Claudia's theme, full length, Unforgiven.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Number 5.
Oh, number 5.
And we're still on Clint Eastwood.
We're still on Clint Eastwood.
Fistful of Dollars.
See, I thought you were going to
Hold
say
on, hang on. Let's just play a little bit of Claudia real quick.
fistful of dollars.
While you're looking that up.
Ennio Morricone. Do you
Here
have
we
you have
go.
the theme from Unforgiven?
Yeah.
Let's see.
If I can get my volume up.
No, it's okay.
It's not bad.
No,
Is that not it? That's it.
Yeah.
that
Instrumental.
It's a very moody movie.
Yeah,
It's not.
that's- yeah, it's
I have a poster for it. If anybody wants to buy it. Fistful
well,
of
that's
Dollars,
that's
Ennio
great.
Morricone.
Yes, Enrico Marconi. Yes, that's true. And it sounds a lot like all the other spaghetti westerns.
yeah,
It
it
had
had
the
that
same
thing,
flavor going throughout it.
Bunch of whistling.
Yeah, bunch of fancy whistlers
Operatic,
too.
I call it.
Operatic whistlers.
Yeah. Operatic. Da-da-da. All right, number 4. You can let this still play.
Okay.
Number 4, for a few dollars more.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, same composer.
So, for a few dollars more was
The second
the second one.
second one made.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to pull this now and wait. Well, you know, for a few dollars more, for just a few dollars more, the Danish Symphony Orchestra played this.
I saw that. That was great. I saw that. Did you see that on YouTube?
Did you see that they recreated it?
They
Oh, they
recreated
did?
it.
Yeah, they
Are you going to
recreated
give
it.
us a sample in a second?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So it's
You got to come around and
it's
see
very
part
it's
of it.
very
All right,
good. It's very
here I
good.
come.
And it's
Come around. Come here. Look at this. This is.
there's
this
the
is
wind,
awesome.
the wind machine. They got the wind machine going.
And watch this. This is that blew me away when I first saw it. What?
Juice harp.
In it play. Listen, what's the emphasis?
That's great.
They're great. I love to have been there.
And it had to have been amazing just to orchestrate this. I mean, for an orchestra, for symphony.
It just gives me chills.
Yeah, it does.
Now, watch this. Now, wait till you see this. Watch this. Look at that.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
It's a shame the Atlanta Symphony doesn't do something like this.
Boy,
Great.
what talent.
great Western themes they could do.
Watch this.
It's great. They've got the full choir.
Oh yeah, it just blew me
And they're wearing
away.
cowboy hats.
I even,
Yeah, that's great. It's
I
great.
even
It's great
posted that
stuff.
on Facebook.
Yeah,
That is
it's
great.
really really good stuff.
All right, number 3
Number 3.
is still
Number
Number
3.
Number 3.
Ennio Morricone. Was Once Upon a Time in the West.
Oh well, yeah,
The song is called "Farewell to Cheyenne." Can you pull that up?
yeah. I've got it right here.
Yeah, "Farewell to Cheyenne." This is number 3.
Yeah, number 3. Yeah. Which again is very moody, very very laid back. Yeah.
When you watch Once Upon a Time in the West,
Right.
you don't see any credits in the movie. It
No, you
opens
don't.
up. It opens up at the train station.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
And then when the movie is over, you hear this music, and then you see the title "Once Upon a Time in the West,"
Yeah.
and it goes into a circle and turns like this, and it's amazing
Yeah,
the way they did
it's,
it.
it's very cool. Very cool.
Great. All right, number 2.
Number two.
Number two.
Number 2. Chance. I've added reverb just to.
All right, you need to pull this one up too. And somebody mentioned this earlier.
Okay, number 2. Here we go.
Number 2. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
The good, the bad, and the ugly.
Are you still there, Jeff? Listen, here you go.
Well, I mean,
Number 2. Well, now I'll tell you, Ennio Morricone did the music, but Hugo Montenegro had the hit with it on the radio.
Oh, really?
Yeah, pull that one up.
Well,
Hugo
well,
Montenegro.
Well, I've got this one right
Okay.
here. I don't know if it's a Hugo Montenegro or.
That's it. This is the Morricone version. This is the movie theme, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Let it play.
Wow, 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 wow. That's great.
Oh. Want to hear that? Bum, 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 bum.
Okay, so
That's
that's,
right here.
great. That's
Can you
great.
pull up just one little bit? This is part of like,
You want to hear the guitar?
Yeah.
and the background singers.
Yeah.
Actually, the way
What
they
are
got.
they saying?
Well, it's people stepping on their feet. That's how they're getting that sound out of their voices.
All right, now can you do me a favor?
Sure, it depends
All
on what
right,
it is.
Pull up Hugo Montenegro's version. Let them hear just a piece of that one.
So-
and you compare.
And
Which
while
one do
he's
you like?
pulling up, Hugo Montenegro, for those who don't know, he did the theme to "I Dream of Jeannie," the second version, the dun 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 dun.
I liked him.
Anyway,
Well, this version was real popular on the radio. The Hugo Montenegro version.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
It was a big hit on the radio.
well, we'll see.
we have some Facebook comments.
All right,
coming.
here, turn it up.
He's got it. Sorry.
So which one do you like better? Listen to this. This is the Hugo Montenegro.
What's the one everyone's probably familiar
Yeah.
with? If you've heard it at all.
I have that original album, but
Yeah.
it's a,
Was it a hit?
oh yeah.
Yes.
On the radio.
It
Yes.
sold a lot
Oh, yeah.
of 45s.
Here you go. Listen to it. Look at Great song.
And they use echo in the voices. Okay, Al, so we're
All
waiting
right.
for the
So he
next
cuts
one.
it with the best part. That's
Yes.
okay.
All right. Well, we don't want Facebook to cut us. Anyway,
Well, we've got Jeff Logan said "About Time."
yeah.
And,
About Time.
And Marty says Ricky Nelson sings the song "Cindy Cindy" in the movie Rio Bravo as well.
That's right. He does.
Yeah,
Sidney,
yeah,
he's right.
yeah.
That's a good song.
Okay.
Too. All right. The number one.
Number one.
Number one.
Here we go. Here comes number one. Here comes number one.
All right. It was voted the best Western made.
Okay. We're waiting to hear the
A
title.
Man with a Harmonica from
What?
Once Upon a Time in the West.
What?
Voted number one.
Once Upon a Time in the West
A
was
Man with a Harmonica is the name of the song.
a man with a harmonica.
With a harmonica.
I'm not familiar with that one. A
Ennio
man-
Morricone.
the-
Pull it up. Marconi.
that doesn't even sound like a number one.
Well, it's from Once Upon a Time
I
in the
can't wait
West.
to hear it. Tell us more about the movie while he's pulling up the audio, Al.
The man with a what?
A Man with a Harmonica. Because
You sure
Charles
it's not the man with the
Charles
golden gun?
Bronson was playing the harmonica throughout the whole movie. You know, he was playing it.
Right. Okay. All right. If you say so.
It's got to be there.
Well, I mean, here it is. This
Nicely done,
This
Tom.
is a version of it.
All right, let it play. Here's the harmonica.
Again, this is a Danish orchestra. Wow.
1968.
Yeah. Oh, nice cough.
It picks up right here.
With the French
All right, let it play.
Wow.
Number one.
Really? By who? By who judged these? Again, critics. Music critics.
And people. It was voted on. You know.
Really?
That doesn't feel like a number one
I didn't.
to me. It's not bad.
Did
but-
you vote?
No.
I didn't either. Did you vote?
Well, I didn't vote.
Well,
but
then
I
there
like
you
it.
go.
Now, I will agree. I don't think that should be the number one.
Hell no.
I like it, but I think number one should be probably From the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Absolutely, that's what I was thinking as well. Do you agree, Tom?
I agree.
So the Nostalgic PodBlast official number one Western movie.
The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I
Theme of all
think it
time
should
is
be
The Good,
number
Bad.
one.
Yeah,
I like both versions.
Are this song
It's
right?
the most memorable. Okay.
Are this song right here?
Lauren Green, Ringo. Let it play.
He lay face down on the desert sand.
This was a big
clutching
hit.
his 6-gun in his hand.
This is big hit.
Shot from behind, I thought he was dead.
Lauren Green?
Under his heart
Yeah,
was an
on
ounce of
RCA
lead.
Records.
But the spark
Yeah.
still burned, so I used my knife. And late that night, I saved
Ringo.
the life of Ringo.
Ringo.
I love the song. I have it on my jukebox.
Now, do you know what was on the flip side of this?
Bonanza.
He
He sang the Bonanza thing.
He sang the Bonanza.
He sang it.
Yes.
I heard there were lyrics. We got to hear some of
You
this.
you didn't hear it?
Yeah, he sang
I've
it.
never heard the lyrics.
We chased Lady Luck till we finally struck Bonanza. With a gun and a rope and a hat full of hope, we planted our family tree. We got a hold of a pot full of gold Bonanza. With a horse and a saddle and a ring full of cattle, how rich could a fella be?
And remember, Al's been to the Ponderosa.
I've been to the Ponderosa.
I've eaten at the Ponderosa.
Ponderosa claim. Here in the West, we're living in the best Bonanza.
All right, that's Lauren Green. Now, didn't they in syndication? Did they change the name of Bonanza to Ponderosa?
Yes. Well, it was still on NBC. They syndicated it, called it Ponderosa.
Yeah, that's weird. Now, what
They played it daytime, is what it was.
Is that what it was?
Daytime lineup, yeah, and then they changed the name.
That's crazy that they changed the name.
No,
I know.
I was working at Channel 6, and we ran Ponderosa. And NBC, back in those days, it came from NBC Films, but it was funny. The reels were green, and it had, in white letter, Ponderosa written on the reel, NBC Films.
Wow, that's crazy. That's just insane.
All right.
And now here's the interesting thing. I did not know that Johnny Cash and Lauren Green did the Bonanza's theme song.
Johnny Cash?
Johnny Cash and Lauren Green did it together, which I find very interesting.
The flame we hold is the good as gold Bonanza.
Not a great quality, but
Hand in hand we build this land, Ponderosa ranch.
that's obviously Johnny Cash.
Yes.
Right is this Cartwright Bonanza.
He's really pushing to hit that last note.
Ain't got a chance.
Sorry for the high pitched sound there.
Kirkley, ready side by side. Hello, friends, come on in.
I've never heard this before.
I've never heard this before. Bonanza.
All right, so when's Lauren Green coming? Maybe he comes in this next verse. Because it's high-pitched shrill, I'm not willing to play it much longer.
I'll take the Lauren Green version over this.
I will too.
We ride along, warm and strong together.
All right, anyway.
My book says about that song, not to interrupt, sorry about that, Bonanza by Jay Livingston and Ray Evans.
Yes.
They wrote the song. And here, during the summer of '72, while Bonanza was still being aired on Sundays, reruns from 67 to 70 period were shown on Tuesdays at 7:30 p.m. under the title Ponderosa.
Wow. And here's the theme from Ponderosa. But that's a series that came on after Bonanza had left the airwaves for quite a few years. Because
Really?
this is a totally different
Oh yeah, I remember
cast
that. It didn't last.
and
I
crew,
remember
and
that.
it didn't
yeah.
last. No, of course it didn't. And it, yeah, I mean, they're using the Ponderosa map as the background plate, and they're showing the different stars and actors, etc. But it
No
just,
Michael Landon.
No, Michael.
He'd already
Landon,
moved on to
no.
Little House on the
Of
Prairie
course.
at that point.
Yeah, Brad Dourif was in it as well. He's a good character actor. You might not recognize the name, but he was a good character actor. But it's one of those things where let's make some money off a popular show, and it didn't work. Obviously.
All right, now we've
Anyway.
talked about Western movies and all sort of stuff. There's some honorable mentions because we can't name every.
No, you can't,
Western,
because there's too
you
many.
know. But I have other movies that I like.
You want to hear the Ponderosa Restaurant theme song?
No. An honorable mention of a movie that's another favorite of mine
Yep.
with music by Jerry Goldsmith.
Okay.
Wild Rovers with Ryan O'Neal.
I do not remember. I
Jerry
remember the
Goldsmith.
title. I remember.
I have it at home. It's with William Holden and Ryan O'Neal.
Wow.
And they're two drifter cowboys, but they get in trouble when they rob a bank.
Ah.
And then they're chasing them. But
Right.
the theme is just wonderful. You got the theme for
well,
Wild Rovers?
I'm playing it, but it's not. It's Jerry Goldsmith, Metro Goldwyn Mayer, Blake Edwards.
Did he direct?
did the
Blake
movie.
Edwards directed. All right, let it play. Let it play.
Let me get into it a little bit more, because it's so
It
far. It's
picks
just
up.
so far it's just
I'll give you a little bit of history behind this
Go
movie.
ahead. Go ahead. Let's hear it.
It was shot. It was a 3-hour movie, and MGM said it's too long.
Yeah.
And so they went in and cut it
Wow.
to 90 minutes, 2 hours, whatever. And Blake Edwards was furious. He says, "I'll never ever work with you guys again." Anyway, they cut it for release, but they released it in the UK in 70mm roadshow. And the DVD I have, I got from Warner Brothers owns MGM.
Right.
And so it's one of these DVDs where you order it and they make it for you.
Right.
It's
right.
not one that's in
That's
the
Warner
store.
Brothers Archives.
Warner Brothers Archives. It took them a couple of weeks to make it, and they sent it to me. But it's the roadshow version. It's got the intermission. It's got the all the entrance music, intermission,
great.
and it's got the exit music.
Well,
that's cool.
That's very cool.
Wild
That's very
Rovers.
cool.
It's a great
Yeah.
movie. And another one, of course, it didn't make the list, was The Wild Bunch.
That's interesting that didn't make the list, because I remember that being.
Sam Peckinpah directed.
Yeah.
It was the first Western that really showed violence at its best.
Yeah.
Because when somebody got shot, it was done in slow motion, and you see the skin just blow apart.
Yeah, because I remember that movie.
Yeah, you
being-
talked about that last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Sam Peckinpah got started directing The Rifleman.
Wow.
He directed all the early episodes of The Rifleman.
Yeah, that's great.
All right, that was, another movie I like with Billy Greenbush and Cary Grimes. Remember Cary Grimes? He was in Summer of 42.
Oh yeah,
the kid?
yeah.
Was the Culpeper Cattle Company.
A fact about Billy
yeah.
Greenbush,
Yeah, he
his
was in it.
daughters were on Little House on the Prairie. They're twins.
Oh, really?
The little girl, the youngest girl, under Melissa Gilbert's character.
Well, the
Anyway,
Culpeper Cattle
Carrie.
Company is a great movie. It's really a good Western.
Yeah.
Alvarez Kelly with
I
Richard
remember that one.
Widmark
Yeah, that was a good
and
movie. Yep.
William Holden, another good one.
Yep. Yep, that was a good one.
And I love this movie here. This stars Don Knotts.
Shake his gun.
Shake His Gun in the West. It's a remake.
Oh,
it's a
mercy.
remake of The Paleface with Bob Hope.
Right.
And it's a funny movie.
Yeah.
And I like the theme song to it, the Shake His Gun in the West. He's a humdinger, a Western swinger. He's a Shake His Gun in the West. I'm sure it's a great movie.
Who else was in that movie though?
God, a lot of good people.
Wasn't there? Well, yeah, there was. Excuse me. There was a bunch of good actors co-playing with it. Now, the people who did the song was the Wilburn brothers. Did they do the theme?
Here it is. Listen, Shake His Gun in the West.
Because it's the Wilburn.
Yeah.
Wilburn. I can't talk. Wilburn brothers.
He's corny as cornbread, seedy as grain. He came out west on a northbound train. The crooks die laughing, but they're dead just the same. He's the shakiest gun in the west. Yeah! He's the shakiest gun in the West.
That's a great movie.
He's got a phony pony that was made in Japan. He rides in the saddle like an elevator man. He's an underfoot, tenderfoot, king of the men. He's the shakiest
Gun in the West. That's a good song. That's a very
And I
good
got a
song.
photo with Don Knotts, by the way.
Yeah,
I've seen it in your studio.
Well, when I worked at Turner, we were doing an Andy Griffith reunion show.
I did that show.
Were you there doing that?
Yes, I directed that show.
Well, Andrew Griffith didn't want to come. He was
Me and
being a
Bud
real.
Willie.
He was being a real dick.
Well, he didn't want to come. Ronnie Howard didn't come either.
Wasn't he working on Matlock at that time? Maybe he
Yes,
had a
he was.
commitment
Well,
on that show.
he wasn't working on that, but Don Knotts came, and he was a perfect gentleman. He was just as nice as person.
Blind as a bat.
Yeah, no, it's funny when he went outside of the studio. He put dark glasses on.
Yeah.
He had to because he couldn't see very well. But I had my picture taken with him, and you've seen it.
I saw that special. I think Jim Neighbors showed up.
No,
no,
Jim Neighbors-
but they
no.
did one with him in it.
They
PBS
wouldn't.
and
They wouldn't
Turner.
bring Jim Neighbors in because he wanted to bring his man friend with him.
Oh.
And they wouldn't pay for him to come fly from Hawaii.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of silly.
Well, I'm just telling you that's why they didn't do
I
it.
read that he has a successful macadamia nut, or did macadamia nut business.
He
Jim
probably
Neighbors in
did.
Hawaii. I mean, he made a lot of money.
Yeah, he probably did.
But
Yeah, he probably did.
Don Knotts was great.
Yeah,
I mean,
but I met all of them and had my picture with all of them. I mean,
Where is it? Where's
well,
the picture?
they're upstairs.
Okay.
They're
I didn't know
upstairs.
you worked on that show.
Absolutely. That's
You
right.
directed it.
Me and Bud Windling.
Well, I knew Bud
pretty
Willing. He
cool.
was,
Yep. I even got the I even got the shirt
No, really.
from the.
I didn't get the shirt. You
well,
didn't get me one of those.
Well, that's because you were in the film department
I was in
and
the
we
film
were in the
department.
production
I
department.
wish we could get your Cartoon Network banner on camera. We'll do that another time.
All right, another-
It's right there.
That's so cool.
Another honorable mention I liked was a movie with James Colburn. He made a lot of good westerns.
He did.
he sure did,
Yes,
yeah.
he did.
He was in the Magnificent Seven.
Yes, he was.
A movie called Waterhole Number 3.
Yes, that was a good movie.
That's a funny movie.
That was
Waterhole Number 3.
That was a good movie. That was
How
a
long
very-
have we gone?
An hour and 20 minutes.
Good.
Okay, all right.
So we got about 10 more minutes. Folks, these are great ideas for rentals. Those that are still in quarantine or
And another
at
great
home.
movie is with Paul Newman. And Paul Newman said it was his. This was.
Gee, I wonder which one this one. And it was a good movie.
I saw him on Carson, and
Yeah.
Carson asked. He said, "Of all your movies, do you have a favorite?" He says, "Yes, I do. The Life and Times of Judge Roy Bean."
Yes, that was a good movie.
He that
With
for
the
some
original
reason,
Bad Bob.
Victoria Principal, her first role, she was gorgeous in that
Stacey
movie.
Keach was the original Bad Bob.
Yeah, not the Mexican Bad Bob, but the original Bad Bob.
Bad Bob.
Yeah.
It was a great
That
movie.
is a good movie.
It was a funny little movie, and there was a ton of 60mm prints of that thing
I
rolling
have two
around.
prints of it.
Yeah,
In fact, you borrowed one.
You lent me one.
on
yeah.
Mylar stock.
Mylar.
And is one of the I guess it's one of the first movies I owned way back when.
You know who directed it?
And, no.
One of my absolute favorite movie director, John Huston.
John Hughes, yeah.
He played in the beginning.
was in it. He was in it.
He was the one that had the watch bear. Remember? He was.
Yeah, he had the bear.
And the little thing broke down. And then the bear got out.
Sure.
And then Paul Newman came over, Judge Roy Bean, and and he took the bear with him.
It was a very bizarre movie. It was kind of a bizarre movie, but a lot of people might like it. A lot of people might say, "What's so good about this?" But I enjoyed it.
It's also got a cameo by Tab Hunters in it.
Yeah.
And what's the guy that took over? He was the star of Planet of the Apes. My mind's blank.
Charlton Heston.
No, the young
Brent.
guy.
Roddy McDowell?
Roddy
Roddy
McDowell. He
McDowell.
was in it.
Yeah.
He's the one.
Keep
that took-
talking. I'm going to hold up some Western comic books
All right.
for the camera
He-
for our
he-
Facebook.
He's the one that took over. And he wanted to get rid of Judge Roy Bean. Because they were bringing oil. Drip oil and all that stuff.
It was a good. The fat woman at the beginning. I won't tell you about it. But
All right,
that was
another
pretty fun.
great movie. It's a John Wayne movie that was never we talked about briefly. It was a War Wagon with Kirk Douglas.
The War Wagon was a great movie.
with Kirk
It was
Douglas.
a good
and
movie.
that's a favorite movie. It didn't make anybody's list as one of the best westerns.
But it was a very good movie. It was on the same wavelength as Comancheros to me.
Yeah.
It was just a really really good movie. I enjoyed that.
I have it on DVD.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Here's a scene from it. It's when he first meets up with Kirk Douglas. It's a great line coming up.
Long match.
Horrible audio. Sorry.
What made you think I wouldn't kill you? Curiosity. Now you're still alive.
Now, what's to keep you that way?
So anyway, it was constant back and forth between the two of these guys.
And another
they were
Western
great.
I liked a lot, it had James Coburn in it, was A Fistful of Dynamite.
I'm not familiar.
They later renamed it called Duck You Sucker.
Duck?
You know,
You
but
sucker?
But you know who else is in it?
Who?
Eli Wallach. You know, he's great. Look, A Fistful of Dynamite.
A Fistful. I don't. I
You know,
do
remember,
not.
I have it on DVD. Yeah, it's a great Western. James Colburn's really good in it.
Well, when did it come out? In the 70s?
69, I think. 68, 69.
Okay, and there was a theme song. Yeah, there it
Fistful
is.
of
Yeah,
Dynamite.
Fistful of Dynamite. There it is, right there. Right there. It's Rod Steiger, James
Excuse me,
Coburn.
Rod Steiger.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Not Eli Wallach.
So they're kind of going off the spaghetti western theme ish.
Yeah. That's very good.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a good movie. You'll like it.
I like James Coburn.
I like his
And
voice. I
when
like his
Steiger
voice.
was at Turner, I met Steiger. Steiger was a weird character, but you know, it's
All right, there's one more song I want you to pull up
so,
too. And then I
okay.
got is another John Wayne movie. Is El Dorado. It had the great theme at the beginning. Pull that up, and it's, I love the song El Dorado.
El Dorado was a great John Wayne vehicle
with Robert Mitchum.
Yeah.
You have the song?
Yeah, and it was by George Alexander, if I'm not mistaken, back in 1966, I do believe.
Over mountains that reach from the sky to the moon, a man with a dream that will never let go, keeps searching to find El Dorado. So ride, only ride to the end of the rainbow. Ride, only ride till you find El Dorado.
That's a good song. That's a good
great
song. That's a good
All
song.
right, then we'll wrap it up. And then you got to talk. But all right, another Western we didn't talk about. It's a great Western with Shane, Alan Ladd. That's, a good movie. Pat Garrett, Billy the Kid.
Shane.
Chris Christopherson.
Yep.
And it's a good one. Of course, we mentioned Tombstone.
Yep.
And another Western I really liked that starred Elvis. I liked it. Flaming Star.
Flaming Star.
Yeah, good Western.
That was a good one.
It was a good. I like the song in it.
Now we never got around to talking about too much about the TV westerns as far as the Warner Brothers collection.
Well, we
of,
talked
of
about
westerns.
Cheyenne, but
I mean, they Warner Brothers was great.
The entertainment capital of the world.
That's right.
Right here.
From the entertainment capital of the world.
Warner Brothers.
Produced for television by Warner Brothers.
Love that guy's voice.
Yeah, it's
He's
great.
got
It's a great voice. And they did Sugarfoot, Cheyenne. They did Maverick.
Maverick's a good show.
Maverick was a great show. Roy Huggins wrote it, and he had some great.
I have some of those on film.
I got some great clips from him, but we don't have time to really play them.
So
we'll
it's
do
something
it
we can
again.
revisit later.
Yeah.
But we got some comments. Lily Langtree and High Noon Gary Cooper.
All right, Lily Langtree was played by Ava Gardner and Judge Roy Bain.
Judge Roy Bain, yep.
And can I quote Bad Bob?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. You're quoting the original Bad Bob here.
The original Bad Bob. All right.
All right,
you
here it
know,
goes.
all kiddies can turn their volume
Okay, yeah,
down.
yeah. So if you don't
You
like,
know, Bad Bob, played by Stacy Keach,
Yes.
was talking to Paul Newman. Paul Newman was up in a barn, and he was looking up at the barn because he's going, he said, because Paul Newman loved Lily Langtree.
Yes, he did.
Played by Ava Gardner.
and you don't say nothing bad about Lily Langtree, and the poster he had hanging up in the sun. You don't deface it. You don't mess with it. So go ahead.
You know, he said Beano. He called him Beano because Judge Roy Bean. He says, Lily Langtree is a bitch whore, and I wouldn't waste my bullet on her, let alone my seed.
It's a family show, Al.
I forgot he said all that about. And that was right before he blew a hole in his
Then he blew a
midsection.
hole, and then Paul Newman blew a hole in him.
And the camera, the angle of the camera was great.
Had a big hole in him.
Had a big hole in his center. It was great.
It's a great line in the movie. And before that, when he rode into town, he shot a horse, and the guy says, "You shot the horse." He says, "Cooking." He says, "How do you want him?" He says, "Blue."
Gosh,
that's disgusting, man.
Well, it did really,
Horse
keep,
meat.
but that line. Everybody remembers that line from The original Bad Bob.
Original Bad Bob. Yep.
Well, anyway, it's been a good show. I like
Thanks,
Westerns
Wizard.
and-
That's your nickname, Wizard. And we need a nickname for Tom. I have one for me. You know, most guys are the strong, silent type. Well, I'm the weak, chatty type. So I'm
yeah.
Chatty Chancy from here on.
I like that. I like that.
It is chatty.
Yeah, I like that.
But we have a contest to announce. Oh, and I got to do one more thing if I could real quick.
Well, that one more thing
You got-
involves me.
This is, yes.
You got to do what?
One more thing.
Oh, I didn't know you were actually going to do that. Okay, here it comes.
One more thing.
As we record this, it's May 31st, 2020, and 1 year ago today, actually on a Friday, the station Al and I worked with changed ownership.
That's right.
YY ceased to exist, and it became a part of the EMF, Educational Media
K-Love
Foundation
Radio.
Network, K-Love Radio. So this is a day that will live on in infamy. And
Yep.
also, there was a listener going away party, and
We
at
lost our
Oxygen
job.
Financial Studios, and on my way back, some lady hit my Audi and wrecked it. So,
Oh.
and it's fixed
Oh,
since
come
then.
on. It was barely hurt. I saw it. They
Well, anyway,
wrecked
it's been
it.
repaired,
Yeah.
but just May 31st is a day that will always be a terror day for me. I hate this
Wow.
date.
All right.
That's
Except
horrible.
for present company accepted. You guys
Yeah.
are making it a lot more easy to deal with.
All right.
And we have a contest to announce, too.
All right, go ahead.
All right, I'll announce this contest. Am I potted up? Because I got a
You're
little
potted
sound.
up. You're potted up. Oh,
Here's a
wait, you're pot. Okay, yeah. You're
Our
potted up.
1 year anniversary of this show is right around the corner, June 15th.
Okay.
So for the first year, we're going to give away first seasons of DVDs and a trip.
Woo.
And a trip. So here you go. Here's. You know what this is?
I have no idea.
Beverly Hills 90210. I'm going to ask a question next week. Next week begins our Mogul series. We're going to do Irwin Allen, okay? And the Irwin Allen movies, TV shows, and I'm going to ask a question. Something Al said this week will be your key to
Okay.
win a all-expenses trip to Beverly Hills, California, courtesy of Delta Airlines, and you'll stay at the Beverly Garland Holiday Inn
Ooh.
for 5 days.
Wow.
Who's paying for this?
Our friends at Delta and Holiday Inn.
Wow. That's amazing.
And you're going to get season 1 of Beverly Hills 90210. So hope you listen closely. It revolves around something Al said. I'll ask the question next
Okay.
week. By the way, I'm kidding about the trip. You're just going to get season 1 of Beverly Hills 90210.
That's great. You,
Oh,
it's a the old bait and switch.
Oh,
Well,
boo.
we're working on our budget, okay? Once we get another sponsor of the show, we'll give away the trip.
It's the old, yeah.
All right, I paused it so you can...
It's the old bait and switch. Chance Bartel.
Season 1, Beverly Hills 90210. It's very entertaining. People in my generation, Generation X. I'm not a boomer, so we got to wrap.
It was okay. I watched some
Nothing
of it
wrong with
anyway.
being a boomer.
It wasn't bad.
I'm not a boomer.
Hey, before we go out of here, can we go out with a Western song?
Yes, and I got the perfect one for
yeah?
that. Here it comes. So until next time, this is Tom.
Oh, can I
And
one
this
quick
is Al?
comment? Flaming Star had Barbara Eden in it before the role of Audrey Magini from one of our viewers on
Is
Facebook.
that Marty?
Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. Flaming Star.
Next week,
Yeah,
Irwin
what's your
Allen. Irwin Allen.
Irwin
Mogul
Allen.
series at Al's studio.
All right.
Irwin Allen. What is this? Happy Trails.
Until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling on.
Go ahead, sing it, Al.
That's okay.
Happy trails to you.
That's Roy and Dale. They do a better job than me.
And we didn't even talk about them.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I
we
tried
did.
to hit
We talked about them.
the Sons of the Pioneers briefly. Bye,
We talked
everybody.
about 'em.
Bye.
Okay,
Goodbye.
Okay, bye. All right, we're back on here. The show is
we're
stopped
back.
recording. What?
We're going to just keep going a little bit for anyone in Facebook Live land.
Rose is down there. Hey, Rose.
So this was pretty much Al's show because that's your forte, westerns.
I love westerns.
So I
always
wanted.
liked those.
I'm always picking the topic, it seems, and hogging the mic. So I wanted to be fair.
Well, Chatty Chat is perfect for
Chatty
you.
Chancy.
Oh, Chats. What did I say?
Chatty Chancy. I don't know. I think it's Chatty Chad.
No. Why would I say that?
Well, also, we wanted to talk about SpaceX. What a cool launch that was. There's been a lot of bad crap in the news. I'm really sad about all of the all the violence and destruction going on around the country. This is May 31st, 2020. Hopefully things have calmed down by the
space
time
shot
this
was
airs
perfect. I love the space shot.
next weekend on Fistful of Radio. But that's my point. The space shot was a glimmer of hope,
Mhm.
you know, in these troubled times of anger, and that poor man was murdered by that terrible cop. We don't talk real politics here on our PodBlast. This is about pop
That was
culture.
terrible. I mean,
we
you
want to
know,
be a diversion from the news for you, but that was awful. That man was killed, and our hearts and prayers go
Absolutely.
out to George and his family.
I totally agree.
And I want justice. That cop needs to go down.
Well, he will.
Who did that?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm talking.
They shouldn't grant
an
him
eye
bail.
for an eye.
They shouldn't grant him bail. I mean,
No.
but you
No.
know, I don't
That's-
know. But if you think about it, in today's court of law, you're innocent until proven guilty.
That's how our system works.
That's
you don't
how
want
it
to rush
works.
to
I mean,
justice,
you-
but you have the video evidence. I mean, that's
Well, that
damning.
is true, but in the court of law, you're still
Of course,
innocent
yeah.
until proven
I'm not
guilty.
defending that guy because I can see that he just that
Now,
was a snuff film is what that was.
In the military court, you're guilty until proven innocent. You know that, don't you?
Right.
In a military court.
That's right.
You know, but
we'll wait for Tom to come back, but
I guess
he's
he
probably
has-
checking on his wife Susan.
Well, I kind of understand.
he had to go pee.
Tom drank a lot of tea at lunch.
Here, get back to your mic. We're talking briefly about SpaceX. What did you think about the launch? Wasn't that cool? You were
That was
there
great.
working, didn't you? On
Yes,
the Weather
I
Please
worked
tell
it.
us what you did at the Weather Channel. To
Well,
cover the
I
launch.
did the Weather
He
Channel's.
pushed a couple of buttons. Is what he did.
No, I had someone pushing the buttons for me.
Jim Gossett's calling. Let's put him on live. Hang on.
Okay,
Is
Jim,
Gossett calling?
Jim Gossett
Hey, Jim.
is calling.
Jim, we are recording. You are on the air.
Well, we're
Jim.
Facebook. Hello.
Say something, Jim.
What?
He may not want to talk. Call me back if you want. We're doing a show. We're recording the show, Jim.
Okay.
All right, bye, Jim. That's our friend Jim Gossett.
But tell Jim to call us at my number. We'll
Oh
put him
yeah,
on.
if he's shit, shucks, he just hung up. Shucks. 678-570-0970.
Well, he probably won't call. He probably won't call back.
He's unless he's getting paid. He's a professional, and I don't blame him.
What's his number? I'll call him.
Well,
Dial,
can't say that.
Dial
I
it
can't-
in
I'll
there.
text it to you.
Dial it in there.
I'll-
Look, just dial it in there. That's all you got to do.
man, he would kill me if I gave his number.
No. I'm not telling you to give his number out.
I've got his number.
No, don't.
No.
Are you-
Don't give his number out.
No. Hang on a second.
We don't want to give Jim's number out because people might call him and say stuff.
God bless America. Let's see.
Yes, you shall.
All right, I got it. So I
Call
got it.
him.
All right.
Here we go. You calling him on my phone? Okay.
No, I'm dialing it. Okay. Here.
No, you can keep it over there.
What time
I
is
don't
it?
care.
It is.
No, it's ringing.
It's 5 o'clock.
You're talking to the microphone for him to hear you.
Well, I don't know. He may not want to do this.
Well, just call him and ask him.
That's
not-
kind of intrusive. To
Yeah,
do
I'm not
that.
going to do that. Okay. He didn't answer.
Yeah, that's kind
Because he didn't recognize the number.
He might have nothing.
Maybe
to
he'll
say.
call it back, and then he can be on the show. But no, I don't want to. All right. So yeah, SpaceX. I thought that was incredible. Elon Musk, what he did, private enterprise.
Oh yeah.
And they docked today. I was watching C-SPAN. They had some
Yeah.
pretty good coverage.
They
of
did it this
docking with the
morning. I
International
forgot
Space
to watch
Station.
that.
What I think is cool are the drones that retrieve the recyclable materials that fall into the ocean.
But what?
And
But
they
what?
call it,
what-
I
what-
still love you.
But
I
what
think
they
that's cool.
but what they didn't do, they show. You know, when the rocket came back down and landed on the pad, they didn't show that on live
No, they
TV.
never show that because it's out in the middle of the ocean.
It's on YouTube though. You can see it on YouTube.
Well, you can see a test
The
of it.
rocket. Did you see it, Chance?
Yeah.
It came and just. Right
It's
back
it's really incredible, and
Yeah,
I
they
didn't
can
realize
do that.
I didn't realize they planned for this for 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
20 years since 2000 they planned this.
Well, they haven't sent a man in space in what 10 years or 9 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, NASA was defunded by the previous administration.
By Obama.
Ah,
Yeah.
so it's Obama's fault. The
Well, we don't need to
previous
go to space when there's people dying in the
administration-
streets. Seriously.
Yeah. So let's listen to what Roy Rogers had to say. But you ever think about Gabby Hayes? He was on a lot of the other shows.
That's a lot of Western
he
shows.
cross-pollinated shows. He even had his own show, the Gabby Hayes Show, and he
My
was on,
headphones are awfully loud. Can you turn them down?
he was on Roy Rogers. He was on.
There you go. That's
he
much
was-
better.
Yeah. He's on Roy Rogers. He was on Gene Autry. I mean,
Why don't you spray some of that in your mouth?
he did a little bit of everything.
It's just like you spray some
And how many triggers were there, you think?
There were two. There were two.
One died.
Yeah, one died.
And
Yeah,
then he had to
yeah,
get another
yeah,
one.
exactly. So.
And I
He
think,
he was like a,
let's hear this.
well, he wore those beautiful English tweed suits, you know, and he was straight as an arrow.
He was a
and,
very dapper guy.
yeah,
wasn't
very
he?
dapper guy, and he drove a long Continental four-door convertible and had a beautiful white beard. One time he decided I was going to be gone about 4 months, and he decided he's going to shave his beard off to see what he looked like without a beard. He hadn't seen himself in about 15 or 20 years. And he was telling me about it when I got back, and he said, Roy, I got that beard off, and I took one look in the mirror, and he said, you never saw such an ugly so-and-so in your life. He put his wife in the car, and they all went to the Palm Desert and stayed in the house for 6 weeks so his beard would grow out. He wouldn't get out in front of the people at all.
But he was one of the all-time great characters in motion
I
pictures.
just loved him. He just couldn't be beat. I just loved him very much.
Yeah, so Roy used him a lot. Everybody used him a lot. So Gabby probably died a very rich man because he had a lot of investments, probably.
Was that David Letterman?
Yeah, that was David
Late Night with David Letterman.
Yeah, it's from 1983, June 22nd, 1983.
Where did you find that clip? Is that on YouTube? I want to.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
I want to look that up.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Yeah, and there's another great roast clip with Lauren Green. They're roasting Michael Landon. It's pretty cool.
We all know that we played father and son on the show, and in many ways that relationship was very real, and it still exists. To this day, he treats me like a father. Never thinks of me. Never comes to see me. Didn't call me on Father's Day. I remember when I first met Mike, I was sitting and talking to Pernell Roberts, who played my oldest son, who calls every week. And they brought in this shy, awkward kid who didn't know what he wanted to do. And look at him. Actor, writer, producer, director. Still doesn't know what he wants to do.
So that goes on and on.
And damn, I forgot to mention on the show, Western Film Fair 2005, Charlotte, North Carolina. I went there and met a lot of Western stars, and I showed them episodes they were in. One was the star of High Chaparral, Henry Darrow. And I showed him a Wonder Woman he did with Roy Rogers in it.
Oh, wow.
Took place during World War II days where they were rationing beef.
Yeah.
High Chaparral, very good.
We didn't talk about Big Valley.
No, we didn't talk about.
We didn't talk about
There's
a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff we didn't talk about.
But he was so nice, and he says, I don't remember.
No, wait a minute. We did talk about Big Valley.
Very
briefly.
briefly.
We played a little of the theme.
Well, I mentioned Lee Majors.
Very briefly. Yeah.
But getting back to Henry Darrow, he didn't remember like 10 years of stuff he worked on. He had a drinking problem. This is what he told me. He admitted this to me. And to people in the room. But I showed him the Wonder Woman. He goes, that was great. I don't remember doing it. And also Ed Nelson was there. And I don't know what his connection was to the Westerns. He did a lot of movies with Steve McQueen. You'd recognize his face. Ed Nelson.
Yeah.
He did a lot of television. He's dead now. He was really nice. And Richard Anderson was there, better known as Oscar Goldman on the $6 Million Man.
Started acting at?
Who?
Ed Nelson.
No, I'd like to know.
He started on The Edge of Night, a soap opera.
That's right, Edge of Night.
Yeah.
But Richard Anderson did a lot of Westerns, too. I think he played a bad guy.
Yeah, he did some Western. I remember him.
And he was so nice, and I saw him in the cafe of the hotel we were staying at, and it was before the show was starting, and I didn't know if I was irritating him. I said, Richard Anderson, I'm here to see you, man, and talk with him. He goes, what do you do? And I said, well, I sell advertising for Auto Trader. And he goes, some men sell insurance. I have to sell myself. He goes, we actors, we sell ourselves. And he just went into this little mini speech with me one-on-one talking about how it's tough sometimes to be an actor.
Yeah, it is.
Because that's all you know is how to perform. That's all you want to do. And if you can't get jobs, it's tough.
He went to a diatribe, man.
Yeah, he did. But he was a nice guy. And he would autograph stuff and say the year. It'd say Richard Anderson 2005 or 2007, whatever year it was.
Yeah.
And I met him in Burbank, California, too, after that. But real nice guy.
That's great.
He wore a rug just like Lauren Green. Yeah. Lauren Green had that terrible hairpiece. And damn, I also want to mention on the show how Gene Roddenberry tried to make Wagon Train to the Stars. That was his concept of Star Trek. And who funded Star Trek was Lucille Ball. But she thought it was a
production.
She thought it was a variety show. She didn't even read the synopsis. Star Trek. Oh, that sounds good. Let's fund that. Let's give that a green light, NBC. She didn't know it was a sci-fi show.
Yeah.
But yeah, Gene Roddenberry was a real revolutionary.
How would she not know us? I mean, she's got to have the details.
She
of
did.
the show.
I can show you the article. She thought it was a variety show.
How could you not know what a show is about that you're going to be paying for?
Yeah.
She had a lot of money in those days, and she probably just didn't really care. She was probably half checked out.
Well, she usually left a lot of that to Desi, but Desi had already gone.
And she was doing Here's Lucy for years. She was on the air working on another show and had been for some time. I liked Here's Lucy with Mr. Mooney.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize this, but we talked about Joan Crawford.
Right.
You know, she ran Pepsi Cola for a long time. Did you know
Yeah,
that?
only because her husband died.
Yeah,
But,
she took over and ran Pepsi.
And
You ever see Mommy Dearest?
Like her.
You ever see Mommy Dearest based on her daughter's book?
Yeah.
Don't F with me, fellas. I'm not in the mood.
No more wire hangers.
That was Faye Dunaway playing
she was
Joan
good at
Crawford. Yeah, no more wire hangers ever. I saw that at the Fox Theater.
I saw it at the Tower Place Cinema. Remember when Tower Place had 6 theaters?
Yeah, yeah.
The Tower Place 6.
And you talk about the New Columbia. That was a great. They only showed one movie, at least when I was there in the '80s, before it was torn down because the church wanted parking. So they bought them out just to shut them down. It was a shame.
What?
They had 70 millimeter.
Yeah, I ran the projectors there.
I saw a James Bond movie there. It blew my mind. Living Daylights, the first one with Timothy Dalton. Not one of the better Bonds, but he wasn't bad. And Star Trek 4, the one with the whales. I saw that there. And you said Wrath of Khan.
That was in 70. We ran Wrath of
70
Khan
millimeter.
in 70. Yeah.
Such a treat, 70 millimeter.
Yeah.
I love it. And in the Fox Theater, it's a shame everything shut
We ran
down.
Aliens in 70.
Yeah, but weren't they blow-up prints?
These were real film prints.
No. I know.
That's a question for Al.
But they were blow-up prints, so were they grainy?
Were they couldn't afford to use 70
Correct.
negatives.
But weren't they more grainy?
No, they look great.
They looked awesome.
They look
When you
great.
blow them up, I don't know. Okay.
They look great.
But the Western Film Fair, wish they'd bring that back. That was a lot of fun. They'd have a banquet with the stars. Sorry.
We had a classic film festival. We ran Gone with the Wind. We ran Dr. Zhivago in 70. What was another we ran in 70? Because for about a few weeks we ran old movies.
2001: A Space Odyssey, was that in 70?
Yeah, we ran that in 70.
I've seen Raiders of the Lost Ark in 70 millimeter
We ran
at the
that-
Fox.
We ran that
on
in
film.
70 at Columbia. We also ran 2010, which is not very good.
The sequel to
70.
2001: A Space.
We ran
yeah, it
that in
wasn't-
70. That wasn't very good.
What about Jaws? Was that ever released in 70?
No, we ran in 35.
Okay. Well, that was a cool theater. I mean, I miss it. I have on
Yes,
video
you-
from the 80s, like a Channel 2, Channel 5
They have the
compilation of
curtains
news
closed on the
reports
screen, yeah.
where I recorded lines around the block because people would,
Oh, yeah.
for big blockbusters, they would line up way downtown,
Why
down
not?
the street there. Now, we have a comment from Dave Matson says, I had an email relationship with Ty Harden for over a year. He was Bronco Lane on Cheyenne.
Yeah.
How about that? I remember that name. I remember that.
Or he was Bronco Lane on Sugarfoot. Bronco Lane Sugarfoot? I thought that was Sugarfoot.
Sugarfoot, Sugarfoot, easy loping, cattle roping, Sugarfoot.
That's kind of a cheesy song.
It was. I thought it was one of the cheesier of the Warner Brothers westerns. But, you know. But wasn't, you know, it is what it is. It's anyway.
How long did we go on the recorded side? Was it over 90?
It was a little over 90.
That's cool. I got to time it out for Fistful of Radio, which I'll do later. Oh, man. Cool, man. Well, I guess we got to start watching film. We're going to have a film festival at Al's place. In Hardy Vision, as you like to call it.
Yep.
He's got a real movie theater, real seats, real screen.
Oh.
All right,
Did
so
it sound good, the
I
audio?
don't know. Because you told me to turn it off.
Well, anyway, we're about to go watch some films, and we'll do a Facebook Live on the 16 millimeter group. What's it called? 16 millimeter collectors on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like to show some movies, and you've got a 1966 General Hospital episode with the original ads.
Yeah,
I'm actually
yeah.
excited about
Original
that
commercials.
because you can't find that in reruns or it's
no.
not on DVD. That's if you got the film.
General
you got
Hospital was one of the longest running soap operas ever.
That's right. All right, man. Well, I'm going to check out. We got to head
Well,
back to Hardy Vision.
Hardy Vision. All right, we will see you guys later.
Next week, Mogul series. Irwin Allen.
Oh, God, I'm sleepy.